Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, I should say, and welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot. Great to see you all here, and thank you all for coming along and joining us today. I hope you're all doing very well. Let me just move that to the right part of the screen. But thank you for your follow to the Real Shameless, and also to Rasmus. But yeah, thank you all for coming along. And today we are finally back in the A320 NEO. It's been a little while. We had a few streams on Twitch, just sort of some casual things, but we haven't done a proper flight for a little while. We certainly haven't been in Microsoft Flight Simulator enjoying the Airbus for a little while either, since Sim Update 5 actually. So this is going to be I believe our first flight since then. We've been waiting for things to settle down a bit, and for the fly-by-wire team to have a chance to make sure that everything's running smoothly. Hopefully that's all going to run smoothly today, but I've decided to risk it. We're going with it's not the development version, it's not the experimental version. This is the custom LNAV version. Although this is publicly available through the Discord, it's not recommended for use yet. There are bugs in it. So I want to make you all aware of that. But it is exciting. This is the thing we've been waiting for. Custom LNAV is going to provide us with the chance to fly a whole host more or wider range of approaches. Hello, first officer's arrived just in time. Yeah, so it's a really exciting thing. They've done an amazing job on it, so we're going to test it out today. But if the sim crashes, if it doesn't work, it's a work in progress. It's not even in the installer yet, so don't worry about it. And please don't worry that you can't get to it yet. Like I say, it's not hidden. It's just not really available because it's not ready yet. Right, thank you to A35K Captain for following, and Orbiter in Chief, and Mike Oliver, thank you so much for your £5 super chat. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing very well. That's very generous of you, and thanks so much. Thanks for joining us today, and really appreciate supporting the channel. Very kind of you. So I hope you're doing very well, Mike, as well. Okay, jumping into the chats. Good to see you. Well, everybody, thank you all for coming along. Lots of names. Becky Davies, Chick Point, great to have you all here. eBoss. Danny J. Suresh, Weird Boss, Kai, Dougal, thanks for coming and moderating. I hope you're doing very well. Joseph Mitchell, great to see you again. Piano Learner, Gary, Spy, Ed Haslam, I hope you're doing well. It is indeed great to be back in the bus. We've got Flog2, loads of names. I can only apologise. Mr. Espresso, good to see you. Night at Night, I hope you're doing very well. Isaac. And thank you again, Mike, for that very kind. It's first time catching you live. Thanks for the content. You're very welcome, Mike. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and I'm glad you've been enjoying the content. Yes, so hopefully Cloudbot will come to life. Let's just check. How is it? We're losing connection here. That's not good. Are you guys still seeing anything? Is it working? You guys let me know. Nick the Gamer, good to see you. Okay, it seems to be working again. How's things going on YouTube? Buffering. Yeah, I don't know why. Very strange. But yeah, thank you, Nick the Gamer. Lauren V, good to see you as well. Lauren says, oh dear, seems some people are far to depart from the old airport across the strait. Yes, there is another airport. I'll show you there shortly. Hopefully the Cloudbot will come back to life. And Gleb, if we can put flight level restrictions in, we'll have a go today. And okay, it's come back super play. Okay, fingers crossed that resolves itself. Stand by. Okay, yeah, I'm not quite sure. Twitch is fine apparently. Okay, it is indeed a happy birthday to Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's been a year. We're getting lots of alerts, so thank you all for those follows to Official Alec, Maramaster, Bonds, iBonds, Professor Woland, Real Sim Pilot, Professor Woland again, and I raided you with the party 4, so thank you very much. Thanks for coming along, and 4 gathers. Okay, good on YouTube. Excellent. All right, seems like it's come together. I don't know what happened there. My YouTube is complaining to me, but it seems to have come back. Great. Right, so there are 2 airports here. We are sitting in... If you look in here, in fact, if I show you the taxi chart, it'll be even clearer. We are sitting here, obviously, at the Nagasaki airport, but there is Amura over here, which is now, I believe, military. But yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator, when you choose this airport, gives you the option to use either. Deep Future, good to see you. Giuseppe, good to see you as well. Thanks for coming along. Glad it's working out. Chickpoint says there was a hiccup on both Twitch and YouTube, so it might be in your connection. Yeah, sounds like it was. Okay, great. Yeah, so we're going to depart obviously from the 3,000 meter runway. We won't make it out of Amura very easily. I mean, that must be what, 1,500 meters. So possibly you get in the air, but maybe not. Certainly not with the weight we're going. Yeah, right. Let's close it up. So here's the aircraft we're using today. This is a Japan Air Service A320 NEO. You don't see many of these around anymore. This livery will be recognized by some of you. It was brought to my attention through Paddy, but this is actually a variation on the old Airbus house livery, and it's been taken by Japan Air Systems, and they basically added the flag and their name to it and used it. They had loads of really creative, fantastic abstract style liveries as well. They're quite famous for it, so we'll have to find some of those that I believe are already on flightsim.to and available. But for today, we're going to use this version of the classic house livery. So quite good fun. I've always liked the Airbus house liveries. It's an older livery. It was around for the A300, which is why they were probably using it. So let's have a look at where we are on the apron. So we're parked obviously in the middle of the terminal. I haven't streamed for a while, guys, so this is actually taking a bit of brain power just to remember what to do. So there we go. We can see a few colleagues have actually joined in, so that's great. So we'll be flying along together. I've managed to choose a stand far enough out that I don't have a jet bridge, so my poor passengers are the ones that are going to have to walk out in the rain. Always a little bit embarrassing, but there we go. Let me just make sure. So we are live on both Twitch and YouTube. So hi Jimbo on Twitch, thank you for those follows. Marcos, Habs, Secret Viper, really appreciate it. Alex, good to see you on Twitch as well. So yeah, you're welcome to join us on either platform. As I said, these full flights for now will be on both platforms, so you're welcome to join us on either. Igloo says, been too long since I've been able to watch my favourite flight sim stream live. Thanks for coming, Igloo, I really appreciate it. The Lone Gamer, good to see you. And Checkpoint is there we go, over on Twitch as well. So yeah, great to have you everyone joining us on both platforms, really appreciate it. I will be reading the chat from both, but obviously you guys will only see the chat on the platform you are on, which shouldn't make too much difference either way. Okay. No, can't see any fancy pink beach livery, no, Lauren. And Platinum Rider, thanks for coming along. Chickpoint got the GSimX sticker, excellent. There is merchandise available, so I hope you enjoy it, Chickpoint. Thanks for coming. Well, thanks for buying it, really. And yeah, they're quite nice. I quite like those stickers. That was carefully drawn artwork. Right. What am I doing? This is really difficult. I mean, we haven't streamed a flight for at least, what, is it a couple of weeks now? It's been quite a long time. So this weather is live weather. I've just fast forwarded time to give us a bit of light. I don't want to fly around all in the dark on the stream. It's not that great. But, well, it looks great, but it's just not that much fun for the videos. So as you can see, there's the water just over there, but we are sitting under a massive thunderstorm. Let's jump into the cockpit. This is, like I say, the very latest version. We're going to go with, or even an in development version. It's probably been changed since I downloaded it. But yeah, we're going to power it up from cold and dark. Alex says, I kind of like Twitch somehow. The chat on there feels more modern. Yeah, the Twitch chat is quite well set up. Kai says, on the engine there is a thing that sticks out on the underside. What is this and what does it do? Sorry, that was a rubbish description. So on the outside of the 320 NEO, it's actually on most engines. You'll see it on lots of different jets. There's little, if you mean the actual right underneath, is it modelled on here? It's quite subtle. It's more obvious. On the IAE engines, it's really clear. There's a mast that sticks out with different holes on it, and it actually drains fluids. On this one, there isn't. So there is on the rear arm, there's a little thing that just sticks out. There's a bit of a drain on it. And you could be talking about this bulge here. This is the gearbox, so the accessory gearbox that sits on the side of the engine. So they are slightly, they're not symmetrical, these engines, as you can see. There's bulge out on one side. So yeah. So that could be it. I can't see anything else sticking out on here that's modelled. That's the only things I can think of. Yep. No, it all seems fine. So yeah, so there we go. Right, back into the cockpit. Let's power it up. That isn't it. Kai says, "Okay, Kai, you have to yeah, give us another description." I'll see if I can read it. Good stuff. Right, let us power up the airplane. So off, masters are off, weather radar is off, mode sectors are norm, landing lever down, wiper sectors are off, although it wouldn't actually matter today. Batteries are both good voltage. Let's put one and then the other. They're now in auto. Airplane starts to come to life. Clunk, ground power on. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, it is a miserable day. I'm hoping we'll get up above the weather and enjoy some nice views. But if you look down here, this is what we're dealing with. We're actually going to have to fly through some serious weather over to Tokyo, which looks like it should just about be okay. Having said that, it's not exactly okay where we are either. So, Bunker, this is a version. This is a version of the development version, I think, but it's not on the installer yet. This is just available through the Discord. So it's very experimental, very likely to be broken, and you can't update it yourself. So yeah, I wouldn't bother with it, to be honest with you, because they are working to bring it, actually release it. This is just for people willing to deal with the stress of it all. Yeah, the ground crew, you'd think they'd give them a code. Yeah, so what ground crew often do, they do exactly what this chap's done. They will go into the tug and they'll sit in there until you call them, and they can wear the headset, or they have wireless headsets, and they can actually sit there and call us when they need us. Fingers crossed, Orbiter in Chief, fingers crossed. A Google user says, one day I'll become a commercial pilot. That's my dream. Wish me luck. Good luck. This is on VATSIM. Right, so that is powered up. That's good news. And we can run through the rest of it. So we could do our AP fire test now once that computer's come online. I haven't heard it make its noise yet, though. Let's get some screens brightened up. I normally have it sort of powered up for you guys, but I thought today, it's only a short flight, 1 hour 25. So a good chance to do a full power up and just see where the A32NX is. I really haven't flown it at all since probably last time I flew it with you guys. Let's set the QNH. There you go. There's a bit of a low pressure. Wouldn't necessarily do these things now. You do your oxygen test and so on. But there we go. Okay. So thinking through the rest of it. Got some oil. Got some hydraulic fluid. Thank you, Captain Fly High, for the follow. Really appreciate it. Yeah, there's our hydraulic fluids sitting slightly higher in the yellow. That's interesting. That's good. So maybe we'll see the green one go down as we head into the air. You can see actually the yellow accumulator is sitting low. So this is natural. This is what happens when the airplane's parked up for too long. By the time the the ground crew open or close that door, that's when we will see that pressurized. So let's do that. Let's see if we can go into the dashboard. Let's load in from SimBrief. And it works. Look at that straight away. That's surprising because I haven't entered my information into here for a long time. I'm quite impressed that's worked. I wonder where it got that info from. And let's load up a baggage door. So that should open the baggage door. And now you see the yellow system pressurize, and up it comes, and now it's in the green. So you can, some people will see that and they'll immediately jump up here and run the yellow pump to pressurize it. But if you do that, you'll notice the yellow pump is running through the ground cargo door, and then it turns off. If we run the yellow pump up here, the crucial thing happens, which is the PTU also runs and the green system pressurizes, and then all the flight controls will move because they'll all be recentered because they're suddenly pressurized. So you have to be quite careful doing that. So I tend to just, nearly always a ground crew come very soon after we arrive at the airplane, and they'll end up pressurizing it themselves. Yeah, we do like the retro liveries, Mr. Truman. Yet there's always an excuse. Dougal says this aircraft is making huge leaps to become a great add-on. It is indeed. Yeah, it's doing so well. It's looking absolutely brilliant at the moment. Yeah, we are indeed going to need the weather radar, and as Goblin says, it is in op. Yeah, sadly the weather radar won't be working today. I am using Navigraph game panel, and I do have to log in every time. Yeah, good point. And I don't know why, but I have to log in every time I load that up. Every time I load up the simulator, not sure why, but there we go. Good stuff. Right. So normally we would do the rest of the flow that I've just sort of shown you the hydraulics and the oil and so on, and the parking brake is on, and anti-skid nose wheel steering is on. This sort of stuff we do from the checklist, and then we go into the memory flows, which is crew supply, ground control. You do the test. Hey, that's brilliant, and I hope you heard that. That sounds exactly like the real one. Very good. Set these to nav. Good stuff. Come down here. Strobes can go to auto. Nav lights still only in one position. There we go. Arm those. We haven't done the fuel yet. We haven't fueled up, so we'll leave that off. Put the dome light on for you guys to make it a bit more easy to see. Oh, wrong way. Landing elevation is in auto. That's all fine. Let's turn these down a bit. Very humid. It's 27 degrees up there in the rain. So yeah, we're going to want to get some air going soon. So I'm actually going to fire up the APU now. That's a known bug, says from Navigraph, says Sharp. Thanks, Sharp. Appreciate it. So there you go, that would make sense. Okay, the first officer's leaving. She's had absolutely enough of that. She can only do a few minutes of work a day. Right, I'll get the APU up and running. We would also do a battery test, so we go to elect, but I won't do it now because I'm actually starting the APU, so you don't want to disconnect them just now. You would have done that earlier really, but you check that the voltage stays, do the engine fire tests. And you can turn on the fuel pumps. Nearly nobody does, but you can do it. You're supposed to, but there is a risk of a larger sort of changeover of electrics when you do that. Good. Coming down here then. I mean, this is it. It's nice to go back in the Airbus, isn't it? Where so much of this is pretty straightforward. Radio panels are on. We'll tune those frequencies accordingly, but no doubt we're going to need 1228s. Let me do that now. I don't think we'll find many VATSIM controllers online, I'm afraid. 228s. Oh, that didn't work at all. That's interesting. Normally my radio panel, I've got the Logitech radio panel. It should work. There we go. Nope, not having it. Interesting. I will figure that one out later. James Cooper, thank you so much for your £5 super chat. Really appreciate it. James says, evening, watching both streams to assist with both algorithms. Haha, hope you're well. Thanks so much, James. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the £5 donation. Really kind of you, and hope you're doing very well. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for supporting the channel as ever. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we're doing well. We've got 100 viewers on Twitch, so thank you to those of you joining on Twitch. It is obviously the more experimental platform. Yeah, really kind. Stand by. Let me just check something. Let me just check what's going on here. Okay, yeah, we're all good. Yeah, but thank you very much, James. Really appreciate it. And thank you to Marcel Dupree for your £5 donation. Really kind. Marcel says, not been here for a bit, real world issues, but glad to be back and supporting the channel. Have a drink on me. VATSIM tutorial, please, if possible. VATSIM tutorial has been on my mind. I think about it almost every day that I need to work on it. But yeah, so thanks so much for the £5 donation, Marcel, and thanks for coming back. I hope life is treating you well outside. I know things get complicated, but great to have you back, and I hope you're doing very well. And thank you so much, as ever, for supporting the channel. Really, very kind. Right. Thank you, UK Falcon, for following. Okay. Shrig says, if you have to get really into the weeds to get your panel working again, could there be a Twitch only stream? Yeah, I won't spend too long fiddling with the panel, don't worry. Right. Yeah, so I've got the avionics panel with the master switch on. Try once more. No, not having it. No worries. Good. Right. MCDU time. Let's get that loaded up. Thank you for the subscription, Tim, and Kitius and Crispy for the follow. Right. Let us and let's go to ATSU. I'm hoping this is going to work actually, because I just realized I haven't re-logged in. Is it going to find our flight? There it is. Japan Air Systems 288. That's us today, flying from Nagasaki to Tokyo Haneda. So that's all loaded in, which is good stuff. Let's grab the, let me just check. There's certainly not going to be an ATIS here. No. So we just grab the weather. Loaded in now. So we want our departure weather, RJFU. And we want the arrival RJTT, just to see. Might help with some fuel decisions, but you'd make your fuel decisions earlier than this, really. Thank you, Blind Gamer, for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you again to Marcel and James for those very kind donations. Push it 3 or 4 times, then it should work. Okay, we'll keep trying. Strange, isn't it? Right. Receive messages. There's our METAR. It's not even a METAR for RJFU. We're gonna have to we have to work on. Let me see if I can get my phone to find it. But there we go. That's no problem. So we've done an init request. We'll just do the performance, weight, and balance then. So I do have a flight plan for this one. It loaded this up quite heavy. I don't know why. SimBrief wasn't being very cooperative. So what we're going to do is we'll load in with this much fuel. 5.8 was required, which is what I agree with. I'm going to top it up because of the absolutely hideous weather. Let's put on another 2 tons. We know there's no traffic out there. But yeah, if there's just thunderstorms around, we could be sitting out of the holding point. If we're even allowed to taxi. With lightning overhead, you probably wouldn't leave the stand, let's face it. So 7.8, we'll load that. Thank you so much, Lilo Pilot and Robin, for your follows. And Simon Schmidt, thank you so much for your £5 super chat. I really appreciate it. Simon says, glad to see you back in the 320, Captain. Thank you for all the entertainment and educational sim content. You're very welcome, Simon. Really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting us as always, and thanks for coming along today. Really, really kind of you. And thanks for joining us. Right, here we go. We got 186 passengers with a zero fuel of 60.4. 60.4 is not too bad. I'm just going to lower it a bit. Just make sure we don't get caught out by anything here. Let's drop that down to £16,000. Okay, there we go. And let's load that on. 57, 64.8. Okay, yeah, we're looking a bit more reasonable now. Good. So we're loaded up then. Anything else to do in here? I don't think so. This is always a bit awkward for me because this isn't the order I do things day to day. Right, so now we're going to hop into the MCDU. We'll go straight for the NIT request. Whilst that loads, we'll just do aircraft status. We've got an out-of-date database. Now, I thought I updated it. Do I need to do that separately? Anyway, so that's out of date. That's not good. That should have the correct date in there. Sadly, it does not. That's my fault. I think I didn't update it properly using Navigraph. Okay. Any questions, guys? Please keep them for in flight. Latka, thank you for the METAR. So what does that say? That's a light easterly wind, but pretty light. 0705. Let me just take a note of that. Light showers of rain. QNH 1006. Yeah, low QNH. And they've got, yeah, cumulus, towering cumulus, light showers of rain. Makes sense. Great. Okay, thanks very much for that, Latka. Thank you for the follow to Weather Bombadil. I say weather, I don't know if it is WX. The weather should clear as we get closer to Tokyo. Thanks, Giuseppe. That should be good. And thanks for your help with the Tokyo scenery. Right. So that's data. Diff init A time. It's all loaded. Thank you, Nicholas, for the subscription, and Anadir for the follow. Japan Air Systems 288, that's what we've got with an alternate RJNS. I don't know where that is. We are well out of my comfort zone now. I've never flown in or near Japan, so this is all new to me. So I do apologise. Look at that. The tropopause was loaded in at 46,000 feet. 46,000. That's pretty high. I'm used to it being in the sort of the mid-30s. Tropopause is where the temperature stops reducing as you climb. So obviously on the ground here it's 23 degrees outside. As we climb, that will drop about 2 degrees per 1,000 feet would be standard, although it does vary obviously. As we get higher, eventually that stops dropping because it can't go down forever. So usually it reaches about -40, -50 and it stops dropping. The point where that stops happening is called the tropopause. The problem with the tropopause is it is where thunderstorms will get limited to. So they reach the tropopause and they stop growing because thunderstorms or growing clouds are caused by an instability in temperature or air. Anyway, they tend to stop about there, but a strong one will go through it. So it's not a safety barrier. If you're slightly above it, you know you can still find them. But anyway, what this tells me is these thunderstorms I've got above me now, they could easily be 46,000 feet tall. So there's absolutely, they could be monsters, yeah. Anyway, there we go. Cosnex 15, flight level 370. So that's an A. Flight plan time. So departure, let's have a look at the charts. The wind is 070. So we're looking at a runway 14 takeoff today. And out of interest, I don't know this route at all. My computer's not letting me click on the taskbar for some reason. Oh, it is now. There we go. That's good news. So let me just see where the route was taking us. It was taking us via Chinook. Okay, that should be good. Checkpoint says, I'm fully trained on tropopause now. First time it took a lot longer to explain. Yeah, exactly. Can you say tropopause 5 times quickly? Yeah, that'd be a bit tricky. Globin says, switch off the ATC assistance on the menu above the bar. That's breaking the frequency tuning. Aha! Yeah, good point. It's just forcing us to tune ground. Yeah. Ah, that's annoying. There we go. Great one. Thank you very much. The amount of things that change in this sim, that would explain it. And this is why I have you guys here. 1228, there we go. Magic. Yeah, so that could happen to you guys. So if you're struggling with your radios, that would be why. I do indeed read both chats. I do try. I'm struggling to read any of the chats. David Waldron, thank you so much for your $5 Canadian donation. Really appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thanks so much for supporting us. Thank you to Off the Ice, Yeah, Nah, Yep, and Electrobolts for your follows. Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much, David. Really, really kind. I'm glad you're enjoying it. For those of you asking about the Phoenix sim, I will chat about it as we go. Yep, save the question for in-flight. So yeah. Right. What have I missed on Twitch? The checkpoint. Yeah, exactly. I'm usually 5 to 10 minutes behind Real Deal, so I do apologise.
Nagasaki traffic, Air Peach 148. Pushback.
Oh, we've got an Air Peach going. Excellent.
South. Nagasaki.
James says, we must remind him not to print METAR 8s in the air. Been crashing a lot with this build. Something Asobo's end. Okay, so we won't print any more weathers. No problem at all. That's a good tip. Anything we can do to avoid that happening. Thank you very much.
Nagasaki traffic, Air Peach 165,
right.
line up and depart runway 14.
Runway 14, and I've totally forgotten which departure we're going for now. So I was looking at doing the, well, which one would it be? Which departure should we use? Via Salty, is that on our route? Let me check. Go via Bali. Let's try it. It's up in that direction. So that takes us through to Salty. Ah. Nope, that doesn't tell us much. Okay, what we're going to do is... And this does happen in real life. No doubt about it. Motu, Sunny, thank you for the follows. Yeah, let's go to plan. Zoom in. Okay, and then let's just piece this together. It's just a puzzle. Salty doesn't even connect. Doesn't go as far as Chinu. Oh yeah, it does. They totally overlap. There we go. That's the problem. So we're going to get rid of Chinu and Bali. I think we'll go for, because we wouldn't go back on ourselves. This is something that happens at airports that don't have common departure points. But there we go. Ah, you'll notice it didn't ask me to confirm it. So it's in some aircraft on the ground. This is actually it's an option in the Toliss. You can modify the flight plan without it needing you to confirm it. Now that's I don't usually see that, but that is an option. So in the Toliss it's an option to have it either way. But you'll see there, so in flight we'll have to confirm it. I'm assuming that's not to do with the latest build, and I know that is an option in some Airbuses. But there we go, that's our flight. It's a pretty short one. So that's all loaded in. Right. Secondary, still not available. Radnav, I'm not too worried. This is a very RNAV departure. We're going to go straight out to FU 401, Unzen, Waras, Goro, Gorokiba 190, Uita, Salty. I wonder why it's called Salty, but there we go. Runway 14, initial climb, heading 146, at above 500, direct to FU 401 to Unzen, Waras, at below 170. So it looks like 170 is our initial restriction. Pretty high. I'm assuming air traffic would give you a slightly different clearance. Transition altitude is 14,000 feet. We're going to go to 170. Great stuff. So let me put that in. That's Tali's versus Honeywell. Tali's lets you confirm more stuff. So it's there you go. Thanks very much. Just the small differences you get. So many variations in the Airbus. So 170 is our initial. Great. And it's actually in magenta because it's a restriction. Thanks, Wally Gaming. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is real weather. This is not the development version. This is a custom build that is still a work in progress. Red nav then, and it B time. Let's load it in. That's all looks correct. Block fuel 77. All in the right place. Thank you very much for those follows. Definitely Bogan, Motu, Majors. Really appreciate it. Yeah, there we go. An extra three tons, which is more than enough. Not quite. We'd actually need a bit more alternate fuel. Our alternate fuel today is going to be. Let me check. Oh, it's only about a ton actually, so not bad. Not bad. Okay, 2.7. Finally, then performance. So 3,000 meter runway. So I would very much expect flat 1 to work at these weights. We haven't. It doesn't. Does it give us a flex? No, it can't give us a flex temperature yet. So we'll go for something reasonable with that wind. And actually, let's go toga. We've got potential wind shear with that weather. So flap 1 and toga is going to be my preference in these conditions. Obviously, if we think we're definitely hitting wind shear, you wouldn't even take off. But slight V1 VR split, that's interesting. 131, 132, 136, clean 215, no problems there. Let's just check the route. There it is, 500 feet, FU401, Unzen, Juarez. So you can see that these waypoints now loaded straight in with the right names. There's none of this user nonsense and all of that. This is really nice to see. And I'm excited to try it out at the other end at the RNAV. I did have a quick go to make sure it would work. And it did work earlier, so fingers crossed we can get it to do the same now. But there you go. A far more sensible looking line than we used to get. When that's exactly the sort of curve it would draw, because it's not expecting to overfly the waypoint, FU401. We can tell it to, if we press overfly,
Airpeach 148, taxiing on Papa
it should.
Tango 1.
I shouldn't fiddle with it though. It's very much in development, but that is the overfly marker. And then in real life, what it would do is it would now draw the green line to the point and then turn afterwards to make sure you do overfly it. Some SIDs will have that written on it. I should be able to remove it like that. So there we go, because we're not going to do that. Good stuff. Right, put that back to arc. Got our flight level. Got our speeds in. We've got our fuel on board. Our passengers definitely want a bit of bleed. Ground power's already gone, so it's a good job we did turn on that APU. I heard it clunk earlier. I wasn't sure why. Let's get the tug connected. Let's get a few passengers on as well. Right. Okay. Yeah, so this is the unreleased version, James, exactly. Overflight isn't implemented, says Globin. Thanks, Globin. Yep, that would make sense. No problems there. GDX, thank you for your follow. VNAV is not working in this version either, I don't think. Yep. We're going to fly over Chico's house. Excellent. Right, it's 2 AM here, says Chico. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not expecting any controllers here. Right, it's time we finish this up. So what is the last option in EFB? So look at this. We're not going to fiddle with that today. That's definitely a work in progress. There's the nearby frequencies. Don't want to give away my Navigraph authentication. There's the calculator. This is all the same. So hopefully we're pretty much ready to go. I feel like we've gone backwards somehow. It's a little bit confusing, but there we go. Yeah, so what we're going to do, it's very hard to see where we're going because of the weather out there. We're going to push back. Thank you, Manos, for the follow, and Captain Beanie. We're going to push back.
Nagasaki traffic, Airpeach 148 lining up, runway 32. Nagasaki traffic.
Nose to face to the northwest. So our nose is going to go, we're facing northeast, we're facing over here, so we want our nose to go to the left. And Nagasaki traffic, air system 288 pushing back from the north side of the terminal to face northwest for runway 14. Right, wish me luck. So before start checklists, we've got cockpit prep is completed for both, gear pins and covers removed, signs can definitely come on and auto.
Nagasaki traffic,
ADIS
Airpeach
are in
148
nav.
taking off runway 32.
Fuel quantity is
departure, Nagasaki traffic.
77 and balance. Takeoff data is all set, and barrow ref is set 1008. Windows and doors are closed. We need to actually get a few things ready before we do that. Beacon can come on. Let's get the transponder. No, that one. There we go. To auto. Right, below the line then. Windows and doors are closed. And look at that, armed automatically. I like that. Beacon is on. Mobile phone off. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is on. Time to push back. Parking brake off. Nose needs to go to the left to face northwest. Flying Game is playing on Xbox. Yeah, so I haven't managed to try it out on Xbox yet. So the nose wants to go that way. We'll do the engines once we push back, because this is taking all of my capacity at the moment, trying to stream and see what's going on with this terrible weather. That's no good at all.
Nagasaki traffic, Airpeach 178, pushing back from stand 8, facing north.
Let's go the other way. Problem is that's our colleague there, and we can't pull forwards, sadly. Oh, I'm getting a lot of flickering, and I don't know why. Hopefully that passes. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. You'd be fired. Right, we're stopping here. That's no good at all. I can only apologise to our colleagues who are trying to push as well. That's stopped. Parking brake is set. We'll get rid of the tug. Starting engine 2. We'll do 2 engines as a short taxi. Pressure at the valve. Number 2 going on. Interesting. My TCA add-on did not work for that. Curious. It worked with the other version. Very interesting. Manos says, you're welcome. I've seen all your videos on YouTube and finally saw you here. Thank you again for the tutorials. You're very welcome, Manos. Thanks for joining us here. Yes, 2-bar pushback. I must get that. Right, that started up. Let's jump into... Need to get our... drone camera. There's that nice rainbow. Thank you, Elton and Kestrel33 and Butchie and Heidi for the follows, and Pizza Monster. Oh no, we can't bring up pizza this early. And David Waldron, I think I thanked you, but thank you again for the $5 Canadian. Really appreciate it. And Simon Schmidt, of course. Right, that's all good. Now, what is going on with my add-on? Must just be this build. It works in the developmental build, I'm sure, because I tried it. That's available. Got pressure. Starting number 1. Yeah, Rise Ivan Music, the TCA quadrant, there has been a bug when using Sim Update 5, which you can resolve by removing one of the settings, which I got off my Discord actually. But it should be working for this one today. Yeah, I've messed up everyone's pushback. I do apologise, everyone. Blind Gamer, if a plane gets hit by lightning, it's not the end of the world. You could lose some systems. We do a lot to avoid it, obviously. You could find that you need to divert if you've lost a few systems, but they're totally designed for it. It's never going to be a major problem. It can just be a bit of a nuisance. You know, it's more startling than it is actually a problem for the safety of the aircraft. They're all designed to handle lightning strikes. Right. Chickpoint says, recently got pizza with tuna. It was surprisingly good. There you go. Yep. I've had that as well. No problems there. Engine started. So my mode selector switch is working just fine. Interesting. That can go there. That can go off. We don't need the APU. We're going to arm the ground spoilers. We're going to set those flaps to 1. And of course, reset the rudder trim. Which I think, let me just check. Oh, no, excuse me. I think that works. Yep, that still works on the add-on pack, so that's good. That's set to 0. Right, we need to set RCG. Thank you, the finisher, for following. So we're going with 29.7. And I've lost my mouse. Well, that's a bit concerning. There it is. Right, I can't see my mouse now in... There it is, right. The things that happen, it's amazing. Oh, it goes up to the top left. I haven't figured out why yet. 29.7. After start checklist, anti-ice we do not need. That is off. Ecam status checked. Pitch trim 20. What did we say it was? 29.7 is set. And rudder trim is at 0. After start checklist complete. And Nagasaki traffic, air system 288 taxiing, runway 17. It's not 17, is it? Sorry, 14. Okay. Taxi lights on. Let's go. Clear on the left. Brakes released. Yeah, so with lightning overhead like this, you'd be very much thinking about not going. Often airports will close in these situations, so they will just tell you you're not going anywhere. So that's fine. You just sit and stand. You burn the APU a bit. Thunderstorms in any sort of normal terrain, they tend to blow through in about half an hour. However, that's not always the case. Some areas, and looking at airports in sort of valleys and bowls, think Innsbruck, Geneva, Sofia, these places, you can find thunderstorms can sit a bit still because they're surrounded by terrain. So they can sometimes be a bit more take a bit longer to blow through. Remove toggle engine 1 fuel valve. There you go. That is how to fix that. James Cooper. Thanks, James. Right, let's run our flight controls. So, full left, full right, neutral, full down, full up, neutral. Just check the rudder is working, the brakes are working, pressure 0, full right, full left, neutral. Okay. We can also, obviously the FO would run there, so we can put the TCAS to TARA, put the auto brake to max. We can give the cabin crew their bing bong. We're going to check our FMA, so we've got 131, 136 and climb nav. That's all looking good. We're going to take off facing the opposite direction, climb up to 170 before making our left turn away. We're going to have the weather radar on because it's going to be pretty important today, so let's make sure that is on. Systems, ground collider suppression, multi-scan to auto, predicted wind shear on. That's all looking good. Yeah, what a gloomy day. Thank you, Saucer and Logi, for the follows, and Shinra. Blind Gamer says, I learnt more in the stream than I did during geography in high school. Thanks. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming along. I'm sure that's not the case. But yeah, thank you to... Oh, there we go. Okay, what else? Weather radar is in op in the custom LNAV build. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. So, that's good. That means we won't have to do any dodging. Performance issues. Interesting. Thanks, Benjamin. Thanks for the information. Would the ground control come off now? Kai, which bit are you talking about? Ground control. You're talking about on the radar? Lego should make the A320 as a Technics build, says Chickpoint. Now, there's a good idea. Why hasn't that been done? That's a really good point. Giuseppe says, make sure not to change your view angle with the right mouse button when you want to steer. It'll lock out your pedals, basically everything else. Ah, very good. Okay, thanks very much. Giuseppe's always got all the latest tips and tricks. Thank you for those follows, Telto and Burrito, and Brooklyn Plays, and Galasco. And again, if you've had any questions that I've missed, do put them back in the chat in the cruise if there's time. I am sorry. Please do selfishly, I'll encourage you to follow and subscribe and come along to another stream and ask again. Sometimes I do 4-hour flights and we have loads of time to do this sort of stuff. Sometimes we do these shorter flights, and it's just very busy today. There's loads of you here, so thank you all for coming along. I really appreciate it. I'll do my best to answer what I can, but I'm not ignoring you if I don't get to the question. I can only apologise. I just punched my microphone, so you might have heard that. Thanks, Pilot John, for following. Oh, I meant the ground control. So this ground control button, automatic. So yes, it would be off now, but it's spring-loaded. It doesn't actually pop in and out like that. It's a different sort of switch. You just press it, and it says on. Once the first engine starts, it actually goes out on its own. So it wouldn't be on anymore. Yeah, good point though. Yeah. So Callum, that's it. You turn it on when you're in the flight deck as part of your setup, and then you forget about it. It would just turn off automatically. Galosco, glad you've enjoyed the content on YouTube. Thanks for coming along. This is a long old taxi. I feel like we've driven more than 3 kilometers, but we don't want to make sure this is an exact sort of day. Basically, this will be low visibility operations, so you don't want to get this wrong. Can you use wipers on the ground or the fluid repellent system? That looks horrible to drive in. Yeah, you can absolutely use wipers. You cannot use fluid repellent. Fluid repellent works in the airflow. It's designed for heavy rain only. It will not work now. Right, sorry about that. Yeah, so you on the ground wipers. They're very noisy though. You can actually hear the wipers of other pilots. You can hear them over the radio in the Airbus, but that's true of most airliners. They're just very noisy. Think how powerful that motor has to be. They're limited to 230 knots airspeed, so if you use them for takeoff, you can use them all the way until you start accelerating, but you do need to remember to turn them off when you start accelerating. Right, let's just bring it to a stop and we'll run our checklist here. And yeah, pilots will do everything they can to avoid using it. But that is a great sound effect. If that was done by Boris, then well done, Boris, because that's really good. Especially the parking one. So that is exactly what they sound like. It's the perfect audio. And then they park automatically. So you turn it off and it will put itself down. It won't stop wherever it is. It makes that noise as it clunks down over the metal and hides itself out of the way. Right, before takeoff checklist, flight controls are checked and checked. Flight instruments checked. Briefing confirmed. Flaps are 1+F. Oh, we've lost our auto brake as well. There we go. Flaps are 1+F in there and 1 down here. FMA takeoff data, we've got 131, 136 climb nav, 152, 17,000 running with toga thrust. Transponder is set to TARA, ECA memo, takeoff and no blue. Next will be below the line. They got some audio now, so let's get all the lights on because I have a terrible habit on streams of forgetting those. So they would go on. Right, below the line cabin is secured, engine mode selector. If this runway was considered contaminated with water and we'd done performance to account for that, then this would be the sort of day you might consider putting it to ignition. We've never done it before, so let's do it. And you should get ignition written somewhere. Oh, we keep losing that auto brake. Right, no worries. That is funny. So yeah, there's a few little bugs just sitting inside this version. There we go. So let's put that to ignition start. TCAS is TARA and packs are going to stay on. That's the before takeoff. Checklist complete. Thank you, Swiftpower, for the follow. Thank you, David and Chavez, for the subscription. Really appreciate it. Anil, thank you for the subscription. Captain Martinez, thanks for the follow. And Pilot John. Yeah, right. You can indeed drink the coffee. So as you can imagine, a nice hot swig of coffee. Leaving it there in that style cup is bad news. That would, unless you had just the right amount of coffee in it, on takeoff, that's liable to just fall straight out the back. And then your bag will be down here. Your bag's probably open because you've got your, your charts or your EFB or your headset or whatever you've got in there out. So that has now fallen in there, or it will do shortly, and you'll just fill it with milky coffee. And good luck, wiping down your license and passport when you arrive. Right, all clear on the right. Let's go. Nagasaki traffic, air system 288, taking off runway 14. I wonder if it's related to the parking brake. Enjoy dinner, Dougal. Thanks for, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Dan, for the follow. Right. We're all ready to go. You can use every bit of runway. This is almost low visibility procedures, but not quite. We can actually take off in worse weather than this, although this is pretty impressive. There's no doubt about it. There's our colleagues joining us. No. This is I just need to sort out the side stick I've got. Has a bit of a twitch and it overrides the rudder. Right, guys, ignition. No, it's not on crank. It's on ignition start. So that should that does force the engines into ignition mode, which we're doing on purpose for the weather. If it was a contaminated runway, it should actually say it up here. It'd give you a little memo. Okay, it's time to go. Let's hope this works. It's been a little while. Takeoff. 50% on the N1s. Half side stick down. Holding it on the brakes. Stable. 3 clicks forward. Mantoga SRS. Order thrust is blue and arms. Yeah, so you might use wipers depending how bad it is, but again, we will try to avoid using the wipers if it looks this good out the window because they're just so noisy. Right, side stick to neutral around 100 knots. We're going to be airborne before we even leave the touchdown zone. V1 and rotate. Fly-by-wire's fantastic rotate law. Positive climb, gear up. Straight into instruments because we just can't see anything out there. So there's nav mode and away we go. It's quite fun flying in weather like this. You get a real sense of how far aviation has come when we can just launch ourselves into these sorts of clouds. I mean, obviously we'd have the radar on normally and we'd be doing any dodging. What you might have done is you'd have the radar on the runway, and while we were sat there, you'd be looking, or you definitely would have looked to make sure there was no thunderstorm right in front of us. If there was, we'd be telling air traffic control that we don't want to fly the SID, we want to do something different. Okay, lowering the nose then, there's open climb. 2 clicks back for this one. Thrust climb, open climb, auto thrust. And we're accelerating away. Autopilot 1. So you see, by now you want to get that wiper off. Otherwise you're going to bust it pretty quickly. Yeah, fingers crossed this does fix the fuel flow with the live weather. Yeah, we'll see what the temperatures do, actually. Good point. Away we go. Right, there's through the S. Bring those flaps to 0. We're on the VATSIM server, for anyone wondering. We're not on multiplayer. We might do a multiplayer flight at some point, and that is why I wanted to use live weather. Just love it. Absolutely love it. So this is a good sign. This is a sign that this is stratus cloud, normal sort of rain. The lightning would be a sign there is a thunderstorm, so there's obviously a bit of a disconnect in the way the weather's been generated. But this sort of weather in rain, no problem. No problem at all. So, flaps at 0. Disarm the ground spoilers. Get rid of the nose wheel lights. And what I am going to do is I'm going to put that back. We don't need the ignition anymore. Put it back to norm. Temperature's 24, so we don't need the anti-ice. Let's zoom out. There's our route. This custom flight plan it's just brilliant. I'm very happy with it. Right, transition altitude is 14,000, so we're going straight up to a flight level. So there we go. Flight level 170 is blue. Open climb. Hello, Zebu. Good to see you. And Medi, hope you're doing well. Yeah, those clouds, absolutely lovely. Let's enjoy them as a passenger. Oh, look at that. Absolute joy. Ed says, chuffed with the improved performance in Microsoft Flight Simulator, can now run on Ultra and the clouds look great. See, that's such good news because I've been very lucky. I've been able to run it at high settings the whole time. But it's really great that finally everybody can experience it like that without having to have a crazy computer. They've done great work, and it runs very nicely now, even for me. I am noticing the difference, especially as we're flying around one of the most challenging parts of the sim to run as we get up to Tokyo. Love it. Yeah, we wouldn't do much dodging of this sort of stuff because it's very uniform. It's not going to be very rough. Right, I'm going to let it follow that. We're going to test it out. Let's let it use it. So we'll do that. Our takeoff checklist is landing it up. Flaps are at 0. Packs are both on. Barra F is on standard. Our takeoff climb check is complete. Thank you so much, Darth, for the follow. Up in the Sky, thank you for subscribing. Rod and Ice, thank you for following. Dan the Man, Crawley, Swift. Really, really appreciate it. Fixing Things says they've taken things away. Well, I must say I haven't noticed, so I won't complain too much. Right, through flight 100, 106, climbing 170. We've got standard set. Get rid of those landing lights. What's the wind like here? 19 knots. Yeah, no clouds around. So that would tie in more with what this little radar showed us over here, because this suggested we were in a bit of a clear patch and that there's more rain en route. So that would make more sense. Thank you to Night Rider for following, and Diesel. Yeah, so I'm going to go to airports. We'll have secondary. Oh, we can't do it. And Radnav will clear out whatever we're not using. Great stuff. Avgeek, glad you like the Toliss tutorials. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. A gamer says, even after the update to improve performance, if I have everything on Ultra and Max with a 3080 I sometimes get the crash next up. Ah, that's a bit of a shame. I have to be very careful. I had to delete a lot of things from my community folder, a lot of my freeware that was nobody's fault, but just that the freeware was not updated for the new sim. This is a freeware mod for the default A320, Christian. This is the fly-by-wire mod. This is getting there. It's a work in progress though, but this has got a serious amount of systems and parts to it. Yeah, it's very good. No, it shouldn't bank at 30 degrees at cruise height. No, definitely not. I think that this is being worked on, this LNAV system, so there are little tweaks. Bid Valley Hendricks, thank you for subscription. How's that temperature doing? Total air temperature plus 18, static is 0, 14,000 feet. Yeah, okay. Ice at plus 14, it's a warm day, that would make sense. Yeah, a gamer knew if you're using Gatwick freeware modded scenery, there's a chance that's not helping. I don't want to blame them. It's just, it's hard to tell at the moment. I had to clear out loads and loads of old freeware that I had used. The wing cam is part of this mod. Yep, so this is one of the drone views available. There's a few actually. They have some really nice ones. There aren't any that show off this livery really, unless we go to a proper external view like that. So Fly-by-Wire added a few extra views into their mod in the static drone. And then there's the more traditional ones. I quite like that one though. And that one. Let's try out that one for a bit. Difflers, if you want to install liveries, make sure you get an A32NX livery, and then you can go and grab it from flightsim.to as normal. Okay, flight test level 170. Now here's the question. If I go back to constraints, it should show me. So we're below 170 at Juarez, but above 170 at Goras, so, or 170 and above. So let's just go up to our cruise now. We're past the restriction. Dashcam open climb, W37. If I push it in, yeah, we don't have VNAV yet, obviously. The fly-by-wire version in the marketplace is, I believe it's the stable version. Yeah, so they are updating it, but it's not as advanced as this one. Evening Window Seat, good to see you, Window Seat, our resident Airbus engineer. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're doing very well. I hope life is treating you well with the Airbuses. Swampfly says, question, have you ever seen St Elmo's fire while flying in real life? Yes, several times, yep. St Elmo's fire is, for those of you who don't know, it looks like lightning. Long Haul Skies, thanks for your follow. It looks like lightning, but it appears, there are some great videos on YouTube. Usually you see it more at night, although I have managed to see it in the daytime when I had a really seriously staticky area. It's usually found near thunderstorms, so if you get it on the windscreen, the chances are you're near some sort of static activity like a thunderstorm. So it's a little bit uncomfortable. It's rare that you get to experience an Elmo's fire without being in quite a high workload situation, because you're probably dealing with some weather or trying to avoid some weather. But yeah, I've seen it. And so it basically looks like little lightning rods is shooting out from the side of the windows often. Yeah, and they glow. They're sort of bright purple. You don't tend to see it in the cabin. I've never heard of anyone seeing it in the cabin. We just get it on our front windows usually. Ice-T says, I've seen a Mayday episode with St Elmo's fire. Yeah, so, that's what I mean. It's usually a sign of a day that is not as easy as some others, perhaps. It's not to say it's dangerous or anything like that. It's totally fine. It's not dangerous to the aircraft, but it's just a symptom of thunderstorms being nearby. To click directly to the wing views, what I do is I have a button assigned to toggle the drone, or the whichever camera angle this is listed as, showcase. So I toggle to the showcase camera. So I set it up in here, and then I can just toggle backwards and forwards with that key. That's how I do it for you guys. First Officer Jaden, good to see you. I'm doing very well. Benjamin, thank you so much for your work on the A32NX, and yeah, the VNAV is in the works. Yeah. Manos says St Elmo's fire would be nice effect mod in the future updates. It would indeed. Jesse, thank you for your follow, and Ain't Boeing Ain't Going as well. Thanks for joining us. And Master Blood. Maxim says, hey, glad to catch you live again. Would you use the ditching push button on stand if you're waiting in very heavy rain? No. We use the ditching push button in de-icing situations, but we follow a very careful checklist. What the ditching push button does, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it seals up all of the holes below the waterline in theory. So things like pack inlets, so we turn off the packs, APU inlet, not the APU inlet, the outflow valve at the back here. The reason we wouldn't just do it in rain is because rain's no problem. Rain getting into the engines or the bleed system doesn't do anything, it's just moisture, it's absolutely fine. Whereas the icing fluid is quite bad. If we were to run or push that ditching push button in the wrong way, we could overpressure the airplane, which would hurt your ears and it would blow the safety valves, so it would tech the airplane. It would mean the airplane needs maintenance. So no, we don't do it for that. There is a checklist to follow. A lot of checklists say consider heavy rain or consider cold weather. It depends which checklist you're using. The one I've got here says cold weather, but I've seen others that say heavy rain, because there are actually checklists we have to follow, such as changing the way the avionics are cooled and so on, if the airplane's going to be left for a long time in serious amounts of rain. Right. Yeah, Chickpoint says, or a volcano eruption. Yes, an Elmer's fire could also be caused by volcanic ash hitting the airplane. Yep. That would be a bad day. If you saw that and you thought it was related to volcanic ash, you immediately turn around and get out of there. You don't hang around. But again, very rare. It's not uncommon near built-up clouds and thunderstorms. Window seat says they have returned all the stored aircraft back to Finkenwerder. Things are definitely picking up. There are so many aircraft around. That's good news. Yeah, really good news. St. Elmo's fire is common in the Mid-East, especially during dust storms. There you go. Thanks, ASGNP. That's some good information. Yeah, so I don't fly much in the Middle East, but that would make sense. So again, the static caused by the particles in the air. It was Speedbird 9 with a volcano. Yeah, yeah. That would make sense. I totally missed that as an option. Good stuff. Right, yeah. Well, thank you all for coming along. I really appreciate it. So we got 150 of you on Twitch, 300 of you on YouTube. So thank you all. Really, really appreciate it. And it's great to have you all over here flying along with us. It's been a little while since we've streamed on the channel. My last video was actually in the F14 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. The upcoming DC designs, there's a preview of that available on the channel if you're interested. I've also been doing a little bit of work. I've been busy lately, obviously, which is good news. So I expect to be able to do a little bit more streaming than I have been. This has just been a slightly unusual month for a few reasons, outside of work as well as work. So hopefully we'll get back to some more normal streaming schedules pretty soon. I'm hoping as well to give you guys a bit more time in the Heatblur F14 in DCS. I've been doing a bit of study on that. So we've got some new things we can do, automatic landings, air to ground, as well as more air to air and long range air to air stuff, which is quite fun. So that would be a Twitch stream at some point probably. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the clouds. Crank is simply, it's that one there, doesn't do much. What it means is we can turn the engine over and crank it and get the fuel out of it without it actually starting up. It's what you do is you put it to crank and you'd press man start, and then it would just basically blast air through the engine to spin the fan blades around as if it was starting, but it will never actually try and start. It does it at a slightly different RPM, I believe. We use it if we've had a tailpipe fire on startup. It's pretty much the only time I can think of using it. So what can happen when you start up these engines, they're very rare, but there is a risk of a hot start where fuel sits in there and then eventually catches fire or causes a tailpipe fire. That's where unburnt fuel is sort of it collects somewhere and then it suddenly ignites. If that happens, then we can crank the engine instead of using the fire extinguishers. The idea being that if you have a tailpipe fire and it's coming out of the actual inner part of the engine, but that part of the engine is designed to be at, you know, thousands of degrees Celsius. It's very capable. It's meant to be. Now, if the fire goes outside of that, then that's not great, and you'd use a fire extinguisher. But if you just blast the fire extinguisher at a tailpipe fire, you might damage an engine that you could have sorted out by just cranking. And cranking will just blow out, hopefully, the fire by drawing air through the engine and drying out any fuel that's in there. Ed says, any reason flying into RJTT and not RJAA, which is Narita? Is it due to VATSIM coverage or add-on scenery? I do have add-on scenery for Haneda, but it was actually a Japan Air service, I believe, a more common route. So Japan Air service was, I think, around in the 60s, but obviously we're using one of their, I believe it's a 90s or 80s or 90s livery. They were not so famous internationally. They were more of a domestic airline, along with, obviously they were one of the big three. The other two were bigger, which was Japan Airlines and All Nippon. But those airlines had a bigger international presence than Japan Air Service. Sorry, Air System. Which is a great name. Absolutely great name. So yeah, that's what's going on here. That's why we're doing this route, a bit more of a domestic route, and Haneda was one of their main bases, main operational hubs. So that's why I thought we'd go to Haneda. And we do have a fix thanks to Giuseppe. We have a nice fix for the scenery there. Now this is interesting. This is obviously. Oh, well, there you go. The autopilot's not in. Interesting. Thinking the speed's getting slow. Shows you how. Well, that's too much. That's me doing too many camera changes. But it does show you how stable the Airbus is. Remarkably stable. I was thinking that it wasn't following the speed properly, and I thought it must be a bug. But no, you need to have the autopilot in for it to do that. What a gaming! Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we are indeed on Twitch. Thanks for joining us there. Yeah, so anyone who's got the Xbox, is this mod available on the marketplace? I believe it's supposed to be. That was my understanding, but again, I haven't had the chance to see. Nimrod says, new to your channel, great stuff. Question, have you ever experienced the bug once you've landed where the plane just steers with a mind of its own? Playing on Xbox and seen a few people report it. No, not that bug. I've seen a lot of bugs, but not that one in particular. So, yeah. Nope, sorry about that. I haven't seen that one. Rishab, yeah, I agree. It is great to see the A32NX getting improved. This is really good. This LNAV system, I'm going to talk about it more once we're up in the cruise, but it is absolutely brilliant. I'm really, really happy with it from what I've seen. And I haven't seen much of it. It could, you know, if we get a crash to desktop today, that's not a problem. This is not for everyone to use yet. This is not ready. Thank you, Retro, for following. Thank you to Pasta. Thank you to Sharp. Sharp, thanks so much for your $3.20 donation. I see what you did there. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Sharp says, thanks for the recent content and stream, Captain. Sadly, have to go now for Christmas dinner. Yes, you read that right. We'll catch the rest later. Happy flying, everyone, and apparently happy Christmas. Happy Christmas, Sharp. Enjoy that. I hope you have all the trimmings and everything, and we will see you soon. Really, really good to see you here, and thank you for your very kind donation. Really appreciate it, Sharp. And Pete, thank you for your follow. Retro, thank you for your follow. Oh, Pascal, thank you so much for your 15. I'm so sorry, I don't know the currency for the super chat. I really, really apologise. I've totally missed that. But thank you, really appreciate it, Pascal. Thank you for coming along today, and thank you for supporting the channel. And I do apologise. That's because I'm doing too many things at once. But thanks so much. Thank you, Pascal, for your very kind donation. Thank you again to Sharp, of course. Sorry if I've missed anyone's follows. There's been a surprising amount, so thank you all for coming along. And thank you for following and joining us today. Check the speed, says Maxim. Yep. Finally got there. Yeah, I can't say that. RJTT, Ed, it's got slightly different approaches. It should be quite good fun. Now, we could be getting into anti-ice territory. Note, static air temperatures below -40, so we don't need to use any anti-ice. The air out there is too cold. Orion says, I work in aeronautics too as an engineer. Nice to discover you, 320 Sim Pilot. Thanks, Orion. Thanks for coming along. Great to have you here. We've got a couple of engineers. Windows Seat is an Airbus engineer as well, so that's great. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, the approaches in RJTT are very nice indeed. So we're going to try out the RNAV just to sort of give a real test of this system, and I'll show you why we've chosen the RNAV in a minute. Looks like we're doing fine with the cruise. The fuel flow is nice. 1,800 kilograms an hour is about what I expect while we're in the climb thrust, so that's all looking good. J-Bay, thank you so much for your 70 ZAR. Really appreciate it. ZAR, that's another one. I don't know ZAR off the top of my head. Is that South African Rand? I think that is. So thank you, J-Bay. Thanks so much. Oh yeah, Springboks, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do remember J-Bay. J-Bay says, thanks for the streams, Captain. Want to bet on the Springboks versus Lions tour, so I have a cold one on the Springboks. Thanks so much, J-Bay. I would indeed. Really appreciate it. That's great. Good luck. Or that was good bit of luck. Or I shouldn't say luck. That was a good bit of sportsmanship. So yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I hope you're doing very well, and thanks for joining us here again today, J-Bay. Really kind. Really kind. Right, this is going to be a bit disappointing. I don't want to sit in this layer. These can be a little bit turbulent. Usually they are. When you're sitting in these, you get sort of bumped around a bit, so we try to avoid them. These sort of wispy layers. Again, amazing simulation by the Microsoft Flight Simulator that we have this, because this is exactly what it looks like. You get up into the cruise and you find yourself sitting, looking at this thin, wispy stuff, and you'd be just ever so slightly bouncing around, just within 1,000 feet to go there. Can we go higher is the question. Recommended max 390, Optimum 390, cruise 37. We're at 62 tons. So we're getting into Coffin Corner. It's nice and smooth. We've got a 55 knot tailwind actually, so that's all good. Yeah, we're going to update that. We're going to go to 390. Let's check the performance. We're going to really put it to its test. I want to get above this layer. I would definitely be asking air traffic control to try and avoid it. Right. Swampfly says I have a flight experience in the A320 Warrior next week, just preparing me for the PPO next year. Good luck. Excellent. You have a great time. And yeah, the A320 Warrior is that's why I was so excited to see it in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's yeah, very common. Enjoy that. It'd be fantastic. You always remember those first few flights. I always have. But great. Thanks for your follow. Okay, yeah, doing 900 feet per minute. That's all looking good. Kai says, let's make a new game show. 320 Sim Pilot tries to guess the currency. He's one guess away from losing. Can he guess correctly or get eliminated? Yeah, exactly. Losing frames. Sorry about that. Hopefully that sorts itself out soon. Voice is fine. Okay, I'll try not to move the camera too much. First Officer Jaden says, can you explain the 4 knobs in between the MCDU? These are switching. We use them only when there's a problem. There you go, new cruise out 39,000. This is a very good mod. It's giving us all the right messages now. Really like it. So, there's 4. They're called switching, and obviously there's a reason for that. The Airbus has effectively 3 of all the major systems. You've got 1 for the captain, 1 for the first officer, and 1 for the aeroplane as a standby. So, this is attitude and heading information. That is things like our PFD, our gyroscopes. So you can see that we are running it on norm. We could swap either the captain or the FO to 3 by turning this knob to that point. I'm not going to do it. I don't know if it's going to break something, so I won't do it today. Let's just watch the level off, and then we'll talk about the rest. We're still in that layer. We didn't make it out of the layer. This is a pretty thick one. Luckily, no performance issues. Fluff says, don't forget to look outside for Mount Fuji. Being offered a seat on the right side is one reason to catch a domestic flight while in Japan. Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, we'll have to take a look out. Mac out star. Let's get that TCAS to below. Let's have a look at the systems. So many of these pages working. Oh yeah, look, we got our first pressurization. I don't think I've talked about this yet. Landing elevation is auto. It's got 8 psi, 8,000 feet. I don't know if this is a placeholder or real. We'll have to check it out in the descent. Electrics are all working now. Hydraulics, yep, yellow's gone down a bit. Green stayed about the same. Yellow's gone down because, of course, probably when we did that accumulator. Fuel's looking good. We burnt 2 tons, 5.6, 6.6, 7.6. So that's about right. APU's offline. Temperature 20 degrees. Ooh, that's a bit cold now. I'd be getting complaints. I'd be complaining in the front. I tend to have it a little bit warmer in the front. There we go. Fine, all looking good. Excellent. So, let's go back to airport. We haven't got any constraints immediately. I feel like we should have done a longer flight now. There's lots to do here. So if this was turbulent, I'd be thinking about descending now out of it. So where would Mount Fuji be in relation to us? Sadly, the terrain radar won't work, so we can't see it like that. I'm going to hopefully bring up the map. There it is. You guys can tell me. I'm totally clueless. I've never been to Japan. EFC, thanks for your follow. James says, is there any reason to switch TCAS to below? There are other aircraft that fly higher than 390. Yeah, the below above thing, it's just in case I want to do an emergency descent. So I've set it to below so I can see more traffic beneath me. However, it makes no difference. It doesn't actually affect your TCAS response, so it's just a display thing. So if you forget it, it doesn't even matter. Meetup is above Mount Fuji. Okay. Weather radar does not work in this version, Kaz. Sadly not. IC says, as a pilot, you have to be pretty precise with both hands, right? Yeah, you've got to have hand-eye coordination is obviously tested, yeah. But nothing superhuman. It's quite normal. Orion, I do use the full TCA package, and I think it's very good, yeah. I do like it. I bought it myself, and I do like it. and thank you for your subscription. Okay, yeah, so the switching panel. So this one is air data, so this is your airspeed, your altitude, so you could switch it to 3 and have the third source. That would be used if, say, we decided one of these, maybe, because these are independent, remember. This does not show the same information. The left and right shows separate information. So one, say the captain's pitot got frozen over because it broke and was no longer usable, and we had an unreliable airspeed event, we would go through a very, very careful process to choose to check that the other systems are reliable. If they are reliable, we could use those. So let's say we decided number 3 was reliable, we could then put the captain's to 3 by switching it there. EIS DMC, this is a screen thing. This is the... Sorry about that. Yeah, so EIS DMC is talking about the displays. So DMC is a display management computer. I think EIS, oh my goodness, electronic information system, something like that. Goodness me, I haven't had to say that for a while. These control the screens. So one of the systems could break, you could lose some screens, you could swap it over and get the other computer to give you that information. And ECAM ND transfer just allows us to swap over. Say this screen was broken up here, you could swap it over. Or your ECAM was, your ECAM was broken. So that's what they do, but we don't tend to use them. And right, thank you CPAG and Toms for the follows, and Josh for the subscription, and Aiden for the follow, and Setline for the follow. Goodness me, it's yeah, great to see so many people joining us on Twitch. Ah, okay, that's interesting. Must have nudged the switch there. Anyway, autopilot 1 is back in. Engine is electronic instrument system. Thanks, Windows C. There we go. Our engineer straight to the rescue. Perfect. I got it right by sheer luck then. Sheer luck. What is the empty space going to be next to terrain on ND? How do you mean? This is an old thing that we don't actually use anymore, so this is correct. It's usually not there. It was an HSI, basically like an old style VOR compass, yeah, but we usually don't have them now. Tricky Dicky, thanks for following, and Morton Jensen, thanks for subscribing. Pablo says, if the air pressure and wind changes between filling in the approach page and actually coming into land, how important is it to go back to the approach page and change it, say 1015 to 1016? No, I personally, if you've got time and you know it's changed, then you might bother. But for 1 millibar, that QNH that you enter in the MCDU, now Windows Seat will correct me here if I'm wrong, but remember, when we're flying the approach, even if we fly a non-precision approach where QNH is very important, on a non-precision approach we must have the correct QNH. This is no good at all, is it? We might have to descend down, enjoy some of the view. Even if we have the correct QNH up here, then we can fly the correct vertical profile. It doesn't actually matter what we wrote in here. What uses this number, the QNH here, is actually the pressurization computers. The CPCs. Computerized pressurization controller, I think. Windows Seat, is that right? CPC? Goodness me, that'd be lucky if I got that wrong, right? There's 2 of them, and they use that information to judge the descent rate, because if the pressure was massively different, it would pressurize the cabin slightly differently. That's why we do that one. Temperature is a performance thing. Again, it affects the density altitude, so yeah, a little bit of that as well. The wind one, however, so I wouldn't get too excited. A couple of degrees or a couple of millibars here isn't going to make much difference. It's more important that you focus on flying, especially if you're getting down that low. The only one that you might want to change is the wind. If you were expecting the wind to be 220 at 10, and then you get onto the approach and they say it's 220 at 20, then I would be tempted to put that into here. After 1,000 feet, I wouldn't really bother, because below 1,000 feet, eventually, I think it's about 700 feet, maybe it's 400 feet, goodness me. There is a point where you're really testing my tech knowledge here. There is a point where this actually locks out. So even if you change it, for example, you write in the new VAP, if you write in the new VAP at 200 feet in the real aircraft, or you change the wind, it would ignore it. It will say, no, I don't care, we're landing now, forget about it. So I would do that at a sensible point, but not too low down. The reason I would bother to change the wind is ground speed mini. If we have told it the wind is 10 knots and then we find out there's actually a 20 knot wind, it's going to think that you need ground speed mini and it will increase your approach speed the whole way down. It can be a little inconvenient and make the landing a little bit trickier. So that's the only one I'd be quite interested in keeping up to date. Right. How are we doing? Oh, I've missed a whole load of chat there. Sorry, the Streamlabs should have a route command. I don't know why it's not taking it. I do apologise for that. Captain Matt, good to see you. Small Birdie, thanks for following. Real Fixes, Real Problems, thanks for subscribing. And Hola as well. Fesix Germany, good to see you again. It's been some time, but tuning into another stream. Hello, Fesix, good to see you. Pablo says, thank you for a much harder and more detailed answer than I expected. No problem at all. Shoot Mount Fuji is to the right. This is no good at all, is it? Right, we're going down to 33. We're going to cruise down there. Let's see if we can, I think we were out of the cloud. Thrust idle Des. And what I will do is put in... Oh, in fact, it's probably not far from our descending point then. No, we're getting close. Right, I'm going to have to stop talking and start doing a bit of prep, because this is not a long flight. Yeah, goodness me. Right, so charts. I'll show you what we're going to do. And I'm really sorry for those of you whose questions I'm not getting around to. I do try and answer, but we've had a surprising amount today. So thank you all for coming along. If you are watching on YouTube, do please hit the like button. It makes a massive difference to the YouTube algorithms and it helps the channel out a lot. So I really appreciate it. We're planning to arrive in via Meetup. Is that a Meetup arrival? That is a lot of arrivals. Oh my goodness me. I've never seen a specific holding charts, so this must be a very busy airport. Thank you, DH, for your $2.30 donation. Really appreciate it. DH says, "Hi, good to see you stream again. What did you think of the Soviet? What do you think of Soviet jets? There's a pretty good 2154 for X-plane. I have seen that 2154. I haven't braved it yet, but it was very interesting. So that's something I'd like to try. Yeah, I haven't actually tried it though, so I don't know. It looks fascinating. I have been on board some. You can actually visit them in Budapest at the museum there. You can get into the aeroplanes and look around them, and they are amazing things. Really fascinating. You're very far from Mount Fuji. Okay, we shall see what happens as we descend down if we find it. I've totally forgotten which arrival we're doing now. Via Meetup. We've got Meetup. We're going to find out that's way too close. Can't see it listed here. Coming in from the southwest though, that's all I know. Or it's just coming in from the west really. Is there just a westerly arrival? Or is that straight over the city so they don't like it? James Cooper, thanks so much for your £5 super chat. Really appreciate it, James. James says, have you considered activating the Twitch subs? I'm sure many of us have Amazon Prime and can sub for free, but you still get the pennies. Thank you so much, James. Thank you for that really kind £5 donation, and thanks for supporting us as always. I have definitely considered it, but I can't actually do it yet, so that'll have to come later. We haven't quite met the criteria. We need to stream for a few more times, I think, before Twitch would let us. But yeah, we'll probably activate that when we can. But thank you so much, James. Really appreciate it, and thanks as ever for the endless support you provide us. Really kind. Right, this is taking too long. I haven't decided. There's a whole world of arrivals. This one looks quite nice. To Kaiho. If I pin that one, then I want to do RNAV 23, which goes there. Yes, I think we're piecing it together now. It's just a puzzle, just a big jigsaw puzzle. You all know my thoughts on too many charts, and this would qualify. There we go, landing on 23, 2,500 meter runway, vacate, and we're just going to park wherever we feel like, really. I'm not going to get too upset about that. Okay, so what we would like to do, why does the route take you over Meetup actually? It's a western direction airway only, it doesn't have a start attached. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange route. Still stuck in the cloud at 3-3. Not much we can do now, really. Okay, right. I'm so sorry for the questions I'm missing. I didn't expect so many people to come along today, so thank you all. What I'll do is we're going to set up the arrival now, and then I'll see if we can answer any more as we go. Right, so start. We've done our clipboard now. There we go. I do love having Navigraph. It's very neat. So let's put in this arrival. It comes from Oshima, and then we'll connect it as we want to from Meetop. Sorry for the buffering, everyone. I'm not sure why it's causing problems. 4 Prawns, thank you so much for your $40 donation. That's incredibly generous, 4 Prawns. Thank you. 4 Prawns says, thanks in pilot, overdue donation. Thanks also to your first officer's valuable contributions. That's incredibly kind. Thank you, 4 Prawns, for $40. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for coming along today, and I'm glad you've been enjoying the videos, and the first officer would appreciate it as well. Thank you so much. Really, that is very generous, very kind, and sorry I missed it. Twitch is at it for me too. Okay. Sorry for the lag. I hope you can hear me. And I'm just going to say thank you again to Darth and Duff for the follows, and thank you to 4 Prawns for that very generous donation. Really, really appreciate it. Very kind. And I'm sorry for the buffering. This is frustrating. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, it looks like Twitch has actually gone way behind on my computer anyway. It's pretty unstable. Alright, well I hope you hear my thanks to 4 Prawns for the very kind $40 donation. Really, really appreciate it. And Hayden J. Robbins, thank you so much for your £3.20. I see what you did there. Hayden says you're a legend. Thanks for the stream. You're very welcome, Hayden. I'm really sorry about the buffering, but thanks so much for your kind donation. Really appreciate it. Wally says the YouTube stream is lagging. Yeah. I'm really sorry about that. I hope it solves itself. Hold on. Yeah, sorry everyone. Fingers crossed this will recover. It did recover earlier. But yeah, thank you again to Hayden J. Robbins. Right, let me finish setting up the arrival. That's frustrating. But here we go. So, arrival. I'm going to do the RNAV 23, and I'll show you why. RNAV 23. There's so many approaches here. And we're going to come in on the start of... I'm not actually sure what it would be called. Oshima? Must be called Oshima. Nope, not available. Right, no worries. I'm going to do... There's no... What is going on? I did check all this earlier, I promise. Let's zoom right in. Let's see if we can figure out which one to use. Kevin says you need to share that 40 with the flight staff. Indeed. Kai's got an advert. That's very strange. That is very strange. Right, let's have a look at what's going on here. So, this is what I want to fly. This is the bit I'm worried about, Kaiho. So, that's where we need to get to. That's the initial fix. If we don't fly a star, we don't fly a star. Yeah, sorry for the advert for those of you on YouTube. Yeah, sorry about the stream. I don't know what's going on. Jack Jover, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. It's working now. Is it recovering? Tita, thanks for following. Hammy, Blocky, thank you all for following. Really appreciate it. Anyway, let me insert that. So this is what we're going to do. Let's just check the flight plan. Now, this is a known problem with the custom system. It draws these huge arcs because it expects us to still be doing 400 knots as we reach the points. But crucially, does it go from Kaiho to TT301, TT302, round the radius to fixed leg, which it can do, TT303, maximum IS 165 knots, and you'll notice in here it says 165 knots. The only problem is it says speed constraint 165. It actually targets 165. So let's try and put in below 165. No, it's not that clever yet. Okay, so we'll leave that as it is, but I'll show you the problem with that later. And then from TT303, it's going to go to 304, 305, and then we go. So this is an RMP-AR style approach. This is because it has a radius to fixed leg in it. The crucial thing here is if we go around on this leg, we need to be careful that we don't accidentally just carry straight on in the wrong mode. We need to keep turning. This is usually associated with terrain, but in this case, it actually seems to mainly be a noise constraint. There's a whole load of straight-in approaches to these runways, you can see here, that do a sort of slightly wonky arrival, but they're just trying to keep us away from built-up areas, which I totally understand being in the middle of a city like this. Turn off the wireless for your passengers, yeah. Need to have Starlink on the plane. Thanks Ian for your subscription. Thanks to you, Seth, for following. So, is it working for people? Is the stream working? Seems that the connection's gone excellent on Twitch. YouTube says... Well, YouTube says error, but YouTube does say error a lot. Is it working for you guys on YouTube? Thanks, Adam. Adam says it seems better when you don't look out the cockpit. Awesome stream as always. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Thanks for the follow, Pilot. Zed says, please answer me. I recently got Microsoft Flight Simulator. I used to use P3D. What is the way to update the fly-by-wire 320 nav data? If you're using it on the PC, then you'll need to use the nav data, Navigraph beta. So go to Navigraph website. YouTube's fine, says Callum. Okay, good news. Right, good. Or go to the Discord side if you're concerned. Go to the Discord and I'm sure someone can help you there. YouTube is working. Okay, thank goodness. ILS for 2223 are usually only for strong winds. They'd use RNAV, LDA or visual usually. Very good. Thanks, Lauren. Right, so this is the plan. So this is going to be a real test of this aircraft's ability to fly a nav mode, LNAV. It has to stick to this very carefully. Now we would normally fly this in final app, so this is not how you would do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So this is not for real world use as ever. What we're going to see is the LNAV system flying the lateral part of it, and I'm just going to use FPA 3 degrees from 4,000 feet at TT301. It's a 3-degree glide slope, so totally normal, and we'll just let it fly down and we'll just check our altitudes at these points. You'll notice these points aren't a mile apart, so we wouldn't use this normally. We'd use final app because we wouldn't. There's a lot of workload here and it's not sensible to be doing what I'm about to do, but this is just the way I'm going to do it because obviously we don't have VNAV working yet or final app mode. High MSAs to the west, 6,300 feet, no surprise there. And the go around climb to 4,500s to TT306, then the 07 to a TBO and hold contact Tokyo, which makes a lot of sense. It's all working now. Thank you all guys. Thanks for that. Nimrod, it's good to see you. Thanks for that. Yeah, okay, seems to have all come back. There might be a bit of a link. Alright, we want the X8CN star. Okay, let's give it a go. Way too many arrivals. Okay, let's have a look. It's when I hit the rudder by accident. I see. Right, let's have a look at this star, see if this works. Yikes. I'm tempted to leave it as it is because this is actually ideal. We're going to go meet up Kaiho and then up and around and in. This little bit here is not what would happen. At what point does it have there? Yeah, I want to go south and then up and then around and in. Yeah, that's no problem. Okay, no, we'll leave it as it is. So those curves are a known problem to be solved by the fly-by-wire team. Good, right. Yeah, weather. Can someone grab me the weather? Actually, no, as long as I don't print, you guys said. So let's just try downloading it. No, Atlas, no, VNAV's not been implemented yet. Absolutely. Running smooth for Andy. Excellent. And he's in a hotel. I hope you're doing well, Andy. I hope you're not working too hard. Sorry, Kai. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's referring to off the top of my head. Morty says, do you have a goal of playing this like landing at multiple airports or using different airplanes? Yeah, we've been doing all of those things really, just seeing a bit more of the world and trying out a few more aircrafts. We've done loads of different airplanes by now. Yeah, so that's the thing that I enjoy, and I enjoy chatting about it with you guys. It's just good fun to chat with people about airplanes really. Right, RGF used not available. Here we go, scattered clouds, 26 degrees. Let me just write this out. So it's 26 degrees. We've got a QNH of 1013. That's nice and standard. And a wind of 200 at 13. So that gives us good information on that runway choice. So let's load it up. So flight plan is done. RadNav, it's going to be an RMP approach, so I'm not worried. Progress page, let's add it. R, J, T, T, 2, 3. There is of course a 2-2 here as well, just to be confusing. Performance, QNH is 1013. Temperature, it's very warm, 26 degrees. Wind, 200 at 13. Remember, we're just following our hat, so flight plan, RadNav, progress, perf we're on. Transition altitude, I'm expecting it to be something similar. It would obviously, oh no, 14,000, it's not by ATC. That's interesting and unusual, but there we go, we'll put it in. That's because there clearly isn't a terrain issue, they just have a very high transition altitude. Landing config will go for full, I'm going to go for medium auto brake. There we go, which will get us off the runway way too early. Now this is an amazing thing about this approach. We can fly all of that in cloud. Look at that. We can curve right round in the bay, line up with the runway, all in cloud, and we won't see the runway until below 300. At 330 feet. So that's after 305. So that is somewhere here. You could then be visual. It's amazing what they can do with these RMP approaches. So 330 minima. If we go around quite a high going altitude, 4,500. Good. Fuel. Should have lots of extra fuel. Let's let it load up. Yeah, if you're having trouble on YouTube, there is Twitch, of course, available. That's funny, that's not loading. There must be something I've done, and secondary we're not going to use. So that is all loaded up. We've got a plan. We're going to vacate off to the right. We'll do a flat full landing. We do have some high MSAs to worry about. Yeah, there's no fix info yet. No. But otherwise, we're going to have to keep a really good look at the LNAV mode, and we're going to start our descent fully configured from TT301, 3 degrees. So it'd be like a track FBA approach for those of you who watched my tutorials on those style approaches. Next thing to check then is distance. How far are we from touchdown? We've got to go past the airport. So yeah, 387 miles. We're quite a way to go actually. But that's actually, yeah, that's nonsense because that has all of those massive curves in it. We're only 180 miles to go to the airport. We're quite low at 3.3, so about 120 miles. We're going to go past the airport, so I would say if we descend about 100 miles to go to the airport, we'll be alright. Thank you to Zach and S2K3 for your subscriptions. Thank you to 18J for your follow, and Lexus and Row Pilots. Malcolm, thank you so much. Malcolm6, I'm so sorry. I'm going to play that one again. Malcolm, thank you for your $5 donation. Really appreciate it, Malcolm. I hope you're doing very well. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you for donating towards the channel. Really, really appreciate it. And I just apologise that I missed it the first time round. But thanks so much. Really very kind. Thanks for supporting the channel. Although I don't know why I'm saying that, because you're probably already listening to me and it's working if you can hear me say that. So lovely stuff. Look at that view. Thanks, Storm, for your follow. And Storm's joined us from YouTube. Excellent, Storm. Thank you. James says, would you consider making a setup video showing your flight controls, PC, monitor layout, etc., maybe for a milestone, no face reveal, and take the glass panel off to stop reflections of you? Yeah, that's an interesting idea, James. I've done a couple of live videos, sort of previews and unboxings of the Thrustmaster set, both the joystick and then the add-on pack. So I could definitely do a setup video. Yeah, you've all seen my desk actually, so you could see it again, and I could talk about what I use, because I do get asked a lot, so that could be quite a good idea actually. Real Deal says, so what do you think of the Phoenix A320? Well, everything we've seen of the Phoenix A320 looks amazing. So for those of you who don't know, it's an upcoming payware aircraft, the Phoenix A320. Payware A320 CEO, not a NEO, it's a CEO for Microsoft Flight Simulator only. And their aim is to be the most advanced Airbus ever simulated on a home sort of simulator. So the stuff they've shown has been very impressive, very exciting. So I'm looking forward to see that again. Definitely. And we're getting little updates from them as time goes on. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that aeroplane and giving it a try, because it looks really interesting. King, thanks for your follow. And Stormtalker. Clouds do look amazing indeed. Checkpoint says, missing those views. Sadly, only one flight in September. We've decided to go by car for our holiday. Ah, well, at least that gives you some certainty. So enjoy that, Checkpoint. Curious why medium auto brakes on this approach. So it's a fair question. In my mind, I wanted to just get off the runway a bit quicker. It's 2,500 meters. So 2,500 meters is actually not that long. You know, we can go down to obviously to sort of 1,500 meters, but 2,500 would be a low to roll off to the end with a bit of taking over. Yep, you could probably quite comfortably do a low, but I'm going to go with medium and just come off at the first one is my current plan. But yeah, low would be probably fine. I haven't done the calculation. Oh, in fact, what am I talking about? This is amazing. They've done this. So let's do it. RJTT. METAR. Don't know the runway slope. Landing distance available. Goodness me. This is why there shouldn't be this many charts. Runway 23. Landing beyond the threshold. It doesn't tell us. Very strange. It's only 2,200 meters otherwise. So it doesn't look like there's any displacement, so I'm going to imagine, but you wouldn't do this in real life, but yeah, 2,500 meters by the looks of it. 60 meter overrun, 60 meter overrun. Not sure if that's included in that 2.5, so let's go for 2.4. Approach speeds. Oh, apologies. Rid of that. 127. Weight is loaded in. Config full. We're not going to use the overweight. We're not going to use reverse. It should be, let's put a wet runway, so that would be good. If it's wet, you should put good in there. It used to be you could just say it was the same as dry, but no longer. Runway heading. Just put 230. Runway altitude is at sea level. Calculate, please. There you go. Low is 2,200 meters, and it's a 2,500 meter runway. So totally fine, but I want to come off at one of those first exits. Good evening, Irish. Thank you for joining us. Bobby Fuzzy, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Dara, thank you so much, Dara Dermody, for the €10 donation. Really appreciate it, Dara. Dara says, what are you thinking for a 50k subscribers celebration stream? Thank you so much, Dara. Really appreciate the donation. Thanks for supporting the channel, Concorde. I haven't learned it yet. That number is creeping up on us quicker than I expected. So, yeah, that's the plan. We'll get Concorde into the air. So thanks so much, Dara. Thank you so much for your €10 donation. Really appreciate it. Yeah, there was a meow. Evening, Gulf Swing. I hope you're doing well. Runway's dry, says Giuseppe. That's good news. It shouldn't make much difference to this. So 2153, 1588. If we go to dry, yeah, 80 meters, and 2153 for low. There are a few glitches with this panel, but good and dry are very similar. it's sort of, I don't know why they changed it. There was a regulation change that meant that now we have to do that. Once upon a time we treated dry and just wet as the same, and it would have to actually be contaminated before we looked any different. There it is. Excellent. That must be it. And we're tracking right towards it, so we're going to right overhead. So I don't know how tall is it. How tall is Mount Fuji? Let me have a look. See if our chart gives us an MSA. Sorry, not our chart, our flight plan. Well, definitely not reading this flight plan right. So one of the helpful community will be able to tell me, because I don't believe the number I just read on the chart. I'm not going to say it out loud because it's definitely not true. It's 5,000 meters. So what's that? 15,000 feet. Okay, that's fine. We'll be safe at 33,000. Thank you, Angry, for the follow, and Revrad, and we did Irish, I think, as well. Yeah, great. 3,776 meters. Okay, a bit lower then. Just over 10,000 feet. That's fine. Irish says, I'm learning fly-by-wire A320 cold start of one of your videos you did. Thank you very much. I hope it helps you. Yeah. Thanks for coming along. Those gaming says thumbnail opportunity. Yeah, indeed. Atlas, you're very welcome. Kai says, if I can fly the Concorde within 1 day, you can do it in half. That's definitely not true, Kai. I'm very bad at new aeroplanes in The Sims. It takes me ages. I mean, like, the F-14, I'm still learning every day, trying to get that thing understood. Juan, sadly, I won't be doing a video flying in real life. There's restrictions. You're exactly right. David, thanks for your subscription. Thank you to those of you who very kindly liked the YouTube video. Really appreciate it. If oh well, I can't argue with that. Actually, there's far more likes on there than I expected. So if you haven't liked it, do please. It does make a big difference to the channel if you're enjoying the stream, of course. Sand, yes, I have had a bird strike. Yeah, they're quite common. We do our best to avoid them, but they can happen. So we're going to have to descend down now, really. I'm just trying to think what the MSA would be, because we're tracking right at it. It has swapped side. Persian says, is it this bright looking out the window in real life? 100% yes. So that sort of blinding light you get like that is exactly what it's like. And that's why we have sun visors up there. So this just folds down. Then we've got another one behind here, which folds up, and another one here. Oh, yeah, it's not actually there. Well, it is, but it's another orange one that slides down and hooks onto this hook here, and it blocks out the light. And then there's one on this window and that window, and then there's this sun visor. Long-haul aircraft have better visors than we do, but that's what we get. Also, you'll be wearing your sunglasses the whole flight. You know, we wear our sunglasses a lot for obvious reasons. It's just required, you know. So I don't want to descend too much, because if that mountain is at, we said about, let's say, so it's 12,400 feet. So let's go down to 18. Thrust out open descent. Down we go. I know that the QNH is the same. It's 1013, so we're not going to run into any issues on conversion. I have indeed flown the 320 NEO in real life. Fun. Matthew Presley, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Matthew says, my FO got a bird right in his window crossing the threshold during a weather diversion. Now that sounds like a fun day out, Matthew. Good to see you. Matthew's a real-world CRJ pilot who often comes and chats with us. So thank you for coming along, Matthew. And yeah, that sounds not much fun. Yeah, so bird strikes, we do our best to avoid them. They do happen. They're not usually dangerous. They do mean you need an inspection of the airplane, so they do tend to add delays to the day, though. James, thank you so much, James, for your £5 donation. Thanks for helping us out again. Really appreciate it. James says, here's a pint for you and some Dreamies for the FO. Yeah, she does love Dreamies. It's the only treat that we really know she really likes. Thanks again for the great tutorials and very much involved dreams. All the best. Thank you, James. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for supporting the channel as ever. Great to have you here. Classical sheet music. Bonjour. Thanks for joining us. You're very welcome, Irish Billy. Irish Bull Eye. Thanks for coming along to say so. Alex says, just bought and installed X-Plane 11. All your fault. Did my first 737 cold and dark start. That was fun. Now going to learn to fly a small prop plane. Excellent, Alex. Enjoy that. Lots of great stuff in X-Plane to enjoy. And yeah, I think there's so many. I've had so much fun with so many aircraft, and there's so many I'm waiting to try out in X-Plane as well. So enjoy that. I see says 1 plane, 0 birds. Yeah. There are some, there's some bigger birds that you really don't want to hit, obviously, but mostly they just bounce off. Birds are very good at getting out of the way, but just sometimes we move too quickly. They're not really set up to account for something moving at 200 miles an hour, because nothing should be for them in their world. Matthew says, yep, just the dumb luck of adding the delay onto what should have been a quick refueling stop. Yes, of course, yeah. So if you diverted, then you have a bird strike. You should just refuel and head back to where you want it to be if you can. But yeah, if you've then got to have an engineering inspection for a bird strike, that would be a bit miserable. Pascal says, ever had a bird strike with an ostrich? Yeah, so an ostrich would be a problem. Yeah. James says, I did hear a bird ingested into an engine floods the plane with cooking chicken smells. So a bird strike to an engine is obviously the worst place, along with pitos. That's the things you don't want it to do. A small bird might not, but if a big bird goes into the engine and then ends up in the inner part of the engine, which is, remember, very unlikely. The engines are primarily... I've done it again. Yeah, it's the rudder. It's very sensitive on my joystick. I'm going to have to deassign it. It's annoying, actually. It's yeah. So there you go. You can just about see the core of the engine is there. It's really thin on the Neos. So most of this is bypass. So you're pretty unlucky if it goes into the core. But if it does, then obviously that will then get cooked inside the engine. And then the air from that is what goes into the cabin. So you can get that smell. It does occasionally happen. Do you guys like having the map on the top left there, by the way, in Microsoft Flight Simulator? It is entirely optional. And there we go. What a stunning mountain. Like I say, not somewhere I've been before. This is definitely screenshot time. Oh, these unlucky passengers. So you want to be in the left seat today. Which view is going to show it off? There we go, roughly. That's pretty cool. No, I don't think you'll see it there. There we go, we did it! This is proper touristy day out to Japan. Excellent. Oh, I'm really happy about that. For those of you who don't know, those of you who joined us today, we spent a lot of our time on this channel. We've flown European routes, holiday routes, which we absolutely love doing in the retro sort of charter airlines of the UK, but it's been something we've needed to do, which is to go and explore a little bit more. Right, so now we're going to head down for the arrival. I need to be passing or joining Kaiho. From Kaiho to TT301, what's that distance? It doesn't actually say, but I need to be Kaiho 6,000 feet. There we go. So let's put that in. And we'll go to QNH 1013 on both sides. Shrink this down just a bit. Great stuff. Vati2, good to see you, Vati. Or Vuti, I should say. Sorry, Vuti says, they tested the new 125 train against bird strikes. The bird went through the screen and cabin and buried itself in the engine. When they complained, Airbus said, we usually defrost the birds first. Yes, there you go. So, how are we doing for track miles? flight plan wise. Once we slow down, this will all start to make it should draw these lines a bit better. Kaiho at 6,000 feet. Kaiho's about 40 miles away. Oh, it's going to RJTT first. So let's go direct to Kaiho. That would solve a few issues here. And there you go. It just draws a line. There we go. Right, that's the approach we're flying. Kaiho, round and in. And you see it's drawn the lines correctly. There's brilliant work. It's really great. So 61 miles. We're at 18,000 feet. We're a little bit high because we need to be stabilized early, remember, on this approach. And we have a bit of a tailwind. So I'm actually going to pick up the speed a little bit now. We'll go to 310. And let's just use a little bit of speed brake. Captain Azores, thanks for your follow. Matthew Presley talking about the CRJ, he says, only issue is it's slightly overpowered, although it's gotten better than it used to be, but the power and pitch settings on approach are exactly the same as I use on the real jet. So that's the Aerosoft CRJ, so that's good feedback from a real pilot. Excellent. Thanks for that, Matthew. I'm hoping to fly that soon. It's been a little while. Checkpoint says, I always take the seat right behind the wing exits. There, very good. James says, I deleted all inputs from the twist function of the side stick as I had pedals too and locked the stick from twist with the button and not had issues. Okay, I might have to do that. Yeah. In fact, I could lock it now, couldn't I? Fingers crossed that works. Classical Sheet is about to fly from Frankfurt all the way to Shanghai. Have fun with that. Good luck indeed. The wing flex is absolutely fine. No, they are fine to flex around like that all day long. No problem at all. Thanks for following, Marco. Irish says, so what do you think of Microsoft Flight Simulator since Xbox came on board? I don't think much really. I haven't seen the Xbox version, but I think it's turning into a really good simulator. There's no doubt about it. And I want to get my hands on that Phoenix and see how that handles. But again, what they've done with the fly-by-wire shows what's possible, because this is an entirely custom LNAV system they've come up with. It's just amazing. Anyway, weather here is lovely, so this is great news. Bodied says, any chance we'll do a video on a VOR-DME landing? I watched a VOR-DME navigation video and it's very useful. I do actually have some videos on trying VOR approaches. If you put 320 SimPilot VOR, you should see the Toliss videos, which will be applicable to the fly-by-wire. Yeah, I have thought about doing a specific video for it, but it would be very similar. Oh, we're getting a few lags now as it loads in the scenery here. Remember, my poor internet connection is now streaming to Twitch and YouTube, but it's also trying to download all this scenery. Ed says, got to head off shortly, but thank you for tonight's stream. It's inspired me to jump into the fly-by-wire again and do some flying. Have a good flight. Thanks, Ed. Enjoy. Ice-T says, flight simulators are like good wines. They need time to get good. Yeah, I think that's pretty true. Orbiter, yeah, I can show you the graphics one day, but I can tell you I'm running all on the Ultra preset at 1440p. And I limit the frames to 30 frames a second because my streaming and recording software doesn't like it. Irish Bull, yeah, I am on Discord. ! Discord should get you the invite. If not, I'm sure some helpful member will be able to help you out with the invite. Adam, the Phoenix Airbus is going to come with CFM 56s. The IAEs will come later for free. I like both. I think I prefer the IAEs, Adam. Luckily, upload and download are separate, says Checkpoint. That is good news. I really didn't know how it worked, so that is good, actually. Thanks, Ad, for your follow. Streamlabs is having issues. So Streamlabs is set to Twitch, I think. This is why it's not working properly. That could be the issue. No, it's not set to Twitch. I don't know what's going on there. Right, time to focus on the approach. Sorry, guys. So that's managed speed. We're going to let it slow right down now. Kaiho at 6,000 feet, but I want to be back at 250. I'm actually going to activate the approach phase now. Remember, this is a development experimental version. No guarantees here. Get rid of the speed brakes. I'd love to fly here in real life and see it. definitely one of my need to visit places. First officer, Jaden, thanks for coming along. We'll see you next time. No problem at all. Enjoy having a good snooze. Here we go then, guys. So, it does help if I have a chart, which... There we go. It doesn't like when I change. Okay, there we go. So, from Kaiho, we're going to go to TT301 and we're going to descend. So, I'm actually going to slow right down and we can descend to 4,000 feet, which is our platform. But remember, by TT301, I also need to be fully configured for this to work properly. Thank you for the follow to Enzanto. I do apologise if I miss any questions from now on. It's going to get a little bit busy. So let's go to flap 1. So speed is good. We'll go flaps 1. There it is. Let speed come back. Thank you for the follow to Mike. Vuti too, thank you so much for your £20 donation. That's incredibly generous for your £20 super chat. Really appreciate it, Vuti. Vuti says, hope that the upturn in real world flights has been kind. Great stream as always. You're very welcome, Vuti. Thanks so much for coming along. Really, really appreciate that. That's very generous. Thanks for supporting us. And yeah, it's been great to go back to work. I've been really happy. So yeah, thank you so much, Vuti, for that very kind donation. Really, really appreciate it. Now I have a slight issue, guys, which is I don't think I'm going to be able to get the replay to work because my computer won't let me open folders at the moment. Right, 4,000 feet, time to go down. There we go, and I'm going to go to flap 2 now. So speed is good, flaps 2. Now, here's the problem. We're trying to descend and put out flap 2, but in managed speed, of course, you'll notice it's trying to also slow down. I don't want it to slow down. I'm going to pull the speed. The reason I don't want it to slow down is I want to use that extra airspeed as drag against those flaps. We've got 10 miles to get to 301, 2,000 feet to lose, so we've got plenty of room actually, and once we level off we'll have no trouble getting the speed back. But thank you again, Vuti, for that very kind donation. Really appreciate it. Glad you've been enjoying it. And I'm really sorry if anyone has questions and I haven't answered. I'll try again, or do please come to another stream and I'll do a longer video next time and we'll have more chance to answer questions in the flight. This has been a really busy one, especially for a part of the world I'm not used to. So we're going to circle around and we're going to land over there. There's our runway. We're already having to put flap 2 out. So 1,000 feet to go. I'm going to go back to managed speed, let it slow down. It's not accepting any auto brake, so pretty soon we'll just be at low. Ice-T, I have seen the video of the pyro landing, indeed. I have seen it. I don't have anything to say on it though. I mean, I have no idea what was going on. No clue. Excuses, yes, excuses for today. Thank you for reminding me. We're going to have, well, we've never flown in Japan, so that's the perfect excuse, isn't it? I don't think there's a way for me to blame the airline system. Okay, speed's coming back, 600 feet to go. Just going to force it down still. I don't want to do, 200 is a little bit relaxed. Let's do 600 feet per minute. It's in speed mode. It should stay at the F, so that's all looking good. Sam says, first stream I've watched in a while. Been on holiday and caught COVID inside the UK, but it gives me a great excuse to come back, and it's great. Oh dear, Sam. Sorry to hear that, but thanks for coming along today, and I hope you're feeling better soon. But thank you again to Vuti. Really, really appreciate it. Brian says minus 587. It's possible. It's possible. So the speed's back. All we need to do is configure. We've got 4 miles to go. Come on, airplane. I don't want to be up here this long. I'm going to force it down now. Level off, please. And then at 4.5, I'm going to go to flat full. Sorry, at 0.5 miles to go. And I'm judging that from up here. I'm going to go to flat full. So at 3 miles, I go gear down. We're level now out to star, so that's looking good. We're going to leave it in nav mode. Should run the approach checklist as well, actually. So the approach checklist says, briefing confirmed. ECAP status, we have checked. Seatbelts, good one, can go on. Power ref is on 1013. MDADH is set to 330 and engine mode set to as required. So gear is coming down. Doesn't work if I'm holding the right mouse at the same time. Arming the ground spoilers. And we'll get those lights on. Good. At 1 mile to go, we'll go to flap 3. I'm going to swap to track FPA. There it is. Hopefully this works. They did fix this previously. 1 mile to go, so flaps going to 3. At half a mile to go. Flaps full. At 0.3, FPA -3. There it goes. Right, so that's TT301. We're passing now at 4,000 feet, descending at 3 degrees, as we see here. Next is TT302 3715.
Haneda traffic, air PH 148.
Oh yeah, I should probably announce it.
8,000 feet, LDA 22 Yankee approach. Haneda traffic.
Haneda traffic, air system 288. Currently downwind, turning final with the RNAV for runway 23. Okay, here's where that restriction is causing us problems. So I'm going to pull the speed. It's done that because it sees a 165. I told you guys earlier, this is actually below 165, so it wouldn't be in there as a at 165. Otherwise, it will do what you just saw. Right, next waypoint then, TT302. Should have been 3715. I think we're about right. I was too busy talking. So next one is 303. This is why we wouldn't fly this like this in real life, because there's obviously the problem that we don't have checkpoints each mile. We're flying this curve, so you'd normally use final app. Thank you, James Cooper, for the £10 donation. Really appreciate it, James. James says, I think when Phoenix released the PMDG released at 7.3, you should get with Flight Data Sim, make him fly Phoenix, and you fly the 7.3, then vice versa on stream, out of comfort zones. Just an idea. That's a great idea, James. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the donation. Thank you so much for supporting us, as you have been. Really kind. This has been one of our shorter approaches, which is it's always bad because most people will show up at about this time. So thank you all for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the video. So next to come is our landing checklist, and we're going to check at TT303. For those of you wondering, we are flying an RNAV. It isn't supported. This is not how we'd fly it in real life because we can't check the altitude as we go. I'm just doing this to demonstrate the capabilities of this custom LNAV and how good it is. You'll notice we went direct to the start of this approach and it didn't cause any problems. It coded this line beautifully, and as you'll see, it does fly it nicely. But in real life, to fly a radius to fix via RNAV like this, we would have to go and do it in final lap. Again, thank you, Vuti, as well, for that £20 donation. Really appreciate it. And James, very kind. Thank you to all the new followers. There's a radio altimeter, 2,500, which matches, so we know that the QNH we've set is correct, which is good news. TT303, we actually have it written on here, 1490. The constraint's been coded incorrectly, and it says here 1490, so I can actually get rid of that now. So 1490 there, and we are currently at 22. It's 2 miles away. Could end up a little bit high, we'll see. Right, anyway, soon we should have that ECAM memo. We're all pretty much configured. There's the auto brake coming back in at low. I don't know what it was concerned about. 1.5 miles, 2,000 feet, so 500 feet to lose in about 1 mile. It's usually about 300 feet, so it could be a little bit high here, just as that speed went up and down. That's why we have to configure before this approach.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
I recognise that voice. I feel like I recognise that voice. You guys will know if I should. This LNAV is not in the developmental version yet. We're a bit high here. TT303 should be at 1500. We're about 600. So we're about a degree high. So I'm going to go to 3.7. We've got 1 mile to get down. So if I go to 3.7 then back to 3, we should be back on track. It is V1, I thought so. I thought I recognised the voice.
Traffic, Air Peach 178.
Blueberry King, good to see you.
Runway 23.
Enjoy the rewatch. Thanks for coming in. Right, TT304, we want to be 1119. Haneda traffic, air system 288, turning final, runway 23 to land. Okay, we're back on profile there, so we're back to 3 degrees. And leaving the autopilot in now. Watch this. This is just fantastic. We're past that speed restriction, so I can go to manage speed there. And this is the magic of RNAV approaches these days. And remember, we could be doing this IMC. 2 whites, 2 reds. That's because we've been doing the FPA ourselves, but a final lap approach would have done that as well. We are stable at 1,000 feet and visual.
Air Peach 178, delay vector for runway 23.
And now it's going to roll out onto final. And remember, we don't need to see the runway until 330 feet. Beautiful approach to this one. I'd love to actually try it. And now I'm going to let the computer do the hard work because we're getting blown wind from the left. We're getting blown slightly to the right, so it's going to have to turn slightly to the left and line me up. Remember, we'd still be IMC, no problem at all. Just amazing. What a difference this makes to places like this and Gibraltar and other more challenging ones. Right, that's it. Final then. We need to be visual at the next... I mean, it's like an ILS. It's just fantastic. Such a difference to have this here. So, autopilot off. Flight director's off. Bird is already on. Trick now is not to do too much. We've got a wind from the left, so we need a little bit of right rudder. 700 feet per minute is perfect for 3 degrees, so we don't change the feet per minute really. 300. It did take us slightly to the left there. There's some good scenery here though.
Airpeach 148, turning final, LVA 22.
There, he's landing on the north runway, which is good news for us. 100. Oh, bit of turbulence over the hill there.
50, 40, 30.
Into the flare.
20.
Idle.
10.
Holding the nose. There's touchdown. Reversed us out. And it's ended up with low. I'm going to take over with some manual brakes. And you'll see that this is a shorter runway than you'd think. That would be quite a hard exit. That would have been serious braking to slow down to this point. But there we go. Welcome to Tokyo Haneda. Thank you all for following along with us. I've really enjoyed it. It's been great fun. Thank you guys. And this is the part of Flight Simulation I'm really enjoying, is getting to explore some other things with you guys. There won't be a replay of that one, I'm afraid. I don't have the... I couldn't get the software to load up in time. I just can't happen. But we're going to taxi in and enjoy some nice scenery instead. So forward idle now. We're off the runway and we're down at taxi speed. What was that? 58 was it? There we go. Sometimes it works out. When would you turn on brake fans? You want to give the brakes as long as you can, really. So if you think they're going to go really hot, I'd say over sort of 500. I think the limit's actually 600. Then you would turn them on straight away. However, we try and... Oh yeah, I better tell them. And Air System 288 has vacated runway 23 at Haneda. So yeah, so you don't want to blast the fans right away, because if you do, whilst they're still heating up now, they'll keep heating up for a while. And if we blast the fans, you'll create hotspots and carbonizing and all sorts. Is this scenery extra from, was this part of their Japan update? This is great scenery. It looks fantastic. So we're off the runway, just on the ground spoilers. Flaps are coming in. It's below 30 degrees. So that's good. Get some of these flashing lights off and the landing lights off. Let's get the APU up and running. Now I did install, there is a mod, this is actually slightly modded, which hopefully will stop us from falling through into the water here. Goodbye classical sheet music, thanks for coming along. Yeah, TA only should be in the centre, that is a good spot, Robin, yeah. I'm sure they're aware of that one, but yeah, absolutely, good spot. Feet per minute doesn't matter, however, as I learnt recently, it was safe, efficient, and on the centre line. Exactly, James. No, feet per minute is not the be-all or end-all. Danny Rubel, thank you so much for your $5 donation. Really appreciate it. Danny says butter. Thank you very much. I'll just repeat that one. I missed it. And also Ebos. Ebos, thank you, Ebos, for the... Oh, I'm not sure if that's working. Thank you, Ebos, for the $11.70. Really very kind. Ebos says, thanks for the trip, seeing the world, thanks to your FS 2020 streams. You're very welcome, Ebos. Thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it. Sorry I didn't see it earlier. It's obviously been quite busy there, but yeah, really kind. Glad you've been enjoying it. And yeah, I've been doing exactly the same, just getting to see the world a little bit with you guys. So this is great fun. And I'm especially loving going to see some other parts of the world. And that was great. I'll definitely be flying in Japan again. The scenery the whole way was just perfect, especially for the last part of the flight. Danny Rubel, you missed the stream, but I hope it was a nice flight. It was good indeed. Thanks, Danny. Thank you so much for that $5 donation. As I said, and yeah, no problem at all. We'll see you again soon. I don't know where we're going to park. This is great scenery. This version is on the Discord spy. Yeah, it is indeed. And thank you again, Ebos, for that 1170. Thank you to all of those who followed on the approach, and thank you again, James, for your £10 earlier. Yeah, I like the idea. I'll say that. I definitely like the idea. C. Gonzalez, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming along. Lustej says, Haneda was one of the high detail airports in the original. There we go. That would explain it. I did get the premium version, of course, so I do get the benefit of some of those highly detailed airports like Heathrow. Bobby Fuzzy says, love to see the LNAV approaches working properly. Great stuff. Yeah, so thank you to the Fly-by-Wire team. If any of you are watching, it's brilliant. I've been using it for a few different things. That was a challenging lateral part of an approach. I know we're not talking about the vertical part, but that was still, there was plenty for it to get wrong there, and it did a great job. And it's done a great job for the whole flight and the departure as well. So I'm really, really, really impressed with the custom LNAV. It's everything I was hoping for. For a long time, people have been asking me, what's your most wanted feature in Microsoft Flight Simulator? And I've always said that. I want the LNAV to be working. I can do without VNAV. As you saw, we managed that without VNAV. We can fly our climbs in the sense without VNAV, no problem. But I really wanted the LNAV to work. What I really like is that we could press the... we could just press...
Beach 178, runway vacated.
I could just press direct to, and it just works. It doesn't get confused, doesn't get it wrong.
Final, runway 22.
Someone's landing over on 2-2, which is great. I think someone's landing behind us on 2-3. We're going to park at one of these stands here, I think. So can we see the traffic over there? No, it's a bit too sunny. Okay, we better go and park then. There is a Manta. Yeah, we got a few Mantas around. Ebos says, this looks like the real deal. Crazy how far Microsoft Flight Simulator has come since. Absolutely. Yeah, I really agree. This is game changing for flying the A32NX. It was always my largest frustration, was trying to sort out the lateral navigation and getting it to fly stars properly, and all these random waypoints like user, and this has solved that. So this is really good stuff. I'm really happy about it. Right, let's head in and park. Thanks so much, Atlas, for your $10 donation. Atlas says, Team Low AB, glad to catch a stream finally. Thanks, Atlas. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming along, and thank you so much for your $10 donation. That's incredibly generous. Really very kind, and I hope you're doing very well. Great to see you here. Okay, let's get on to stand. Got the APU available. That's good news. Johan, this is slightly modified scenery. I'm using the flightsim.to. It's a fix, though. I don't think it actually changes anything or adds any scenery. I think it just fixes a few bugs with it. I think we're going to stop there. Put the brake on. Right, APU is available. Shutting down. Yeah, my master switches aren't working anymore, though. That's one thing I do need to solve. Thank you, Danish Beer, for the follow.
Tornado traffic, Air Beach 148, vacating runway 22
GPU's
on Sierra 6, I believe.
Passenger signs off.
Bravo.
You normally want to do that once those slides are disarmed, ideally. Beacon off, but yeah, that's tied to the beacon. And there we go. Welcome to Haneda. Well, it's been a little while since we've streamed. I've had an absolutely brilliant time. That is not a very good drone flying position. So let's go and take our drone out over the airport. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for those of you who watched along on Twitch. Thank you, of course, for those who watched on YouTube as well. Do please leave a like on the way out if you've enjoyed it. It's been absolutely brilliant to have you all here, and I hope that's shown off the fly-by-wire's lateral navigation capabilities for you. It's, like I say, game-changing for me. Absolutely love it. What a relief. And we'll now be able to go and try out some other sort of things, and just flying SIDS and stars now, it seems so much more robust, which I'm really happy about. I do apologise to those of you whose questions I've missed. I'm sure there's loads, because this has been quite a busy stream. Actually, there were more of you came along today than I'd anticipated, so I can only apologise. I do try and answer all the questions, so please do come again to another stream, and we'll have a bit of a longer flight next time. This is on an unusually short one, and I'll be able to show you guys a few more, or answer a few more questions. Thank you very much to those of you who very kindly donated. I really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. There's lots more exciting things to come, so I'm excited to share some upcoming things with you on the channel. More tutorials and guides obviously coming soon. Thank you to the moderators for taking the time to moderate across both Twitch and YouTube. I know that's quite difficult, so I really, really appreciate it. There's some traffic taxiing in there. Excellent. Our colleague on 2-2, I believe. Yeah, so thanks to the moderators, and thank you to everyone who's watched along, to those of you who kindly chatted, and those of you who didn't, who just watched along. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. We'll go and fly around in Tokyo another time again soon, or other parts of the world. So for now, sorry there's no outro music, but sorry, there is outro music, but no replay. So we'll leave you to it. And please keep safe and well. We'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.